Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tea at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
When a person is seriously injured, there's no substitute for the personal legal relationship offered by the local NorCal firm of Ashton and Price. From the first attorney meeting, every important decision is made with a direct consultation with, and I can't believe I have to say this, a real, live, experienced, flesh and blood local attorney. It's called Home Court Advantage for a reason. Ashton and Price, serious local attorneys for serious people with serious injuries with no fee until we win. For the best local advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
No way. Gas prices shot up again.
I know, but I got us covered.
So generous. What's your deal?
What's my deal? I went to Metro and saved. Got 4 lines for just $25 each and 4 free new Samsung Galaxy A17 5G phones, and all on the T-Mobile network.
Ah, how about we go to Metro today?
Get that more for your money feeling. Visit your Metro by T-Mobile store. Just bring your numbers. Net available if you've been with Metro or T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
Truck Madness storms into the Stockton Dirt Track with the most affordable family fun on May 9th. Tickets started at $15. Admission includes a bid party. Meet the drivers, touch the trucks, feel the power. And don't miss $10 monster truck rides that put you in the action. Save money now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Capital Casino is conveniently located in downtown, 411 16th Street, and has been a part of the greater Sacramento area for over 20 years. They offer the best variety of games in the region in a safe and friendly environment, and there's plenty of parking, all well lit and monitored by security. Come have a great meal at the cafe and restaurant inside. Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. But please always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Card collectors know there's nothing as special as a rare one-of-one card. And now you can hear a very rare one-of-a-kind sports card show right here on Sactown Sports. Whitey Gleason here inviting you to join me and Mr. True Sports Cards himself, Emran Pilati, for the True Sports Card Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sactown Sports. It's the only sports card radio show in the nation. For all your hobby needs, get to True Sports Cards, 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland. And for hobby, insight, and fun, join us for the True Sports Card Show Saturday mornings at 10 on Sactown Sports.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios,
Sactown Sports 1140.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson. Online at SactownSports.com or on the app. Kings, Niners, and Sacramento. The Matt and Kayla Show starts now.
Well, voice guy, you're wrong. It's not Kayla today. She's gone. She left us. Kayla Anderson has responsibilities elsewhere. She is emceeing an event somewhere in Sacramento, and we wish her the absolute best. I'm sure she's killing it over there like she always does. So you know what you get? You get Matt George and you get Kyle Ledbetter today. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Well, not really. It's kind of raining. Sun's coming out a little bit, but I like this weather. We've talked about it before. I like rainy days. I was watching playoff basketball last night. Had the fireplace on, getting nice and cozy. And then it was fitting. When De'Aaron Fox was playing terribly, I could look out the window and look at the rainfall and longingly be sad, remembering the days of Fox closing out games in the fourth quarter to punch the Spurs ticket to the next round, only for the Spurs to lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll talk about that game. I'm very much looking forward to this series. I think this series is going to be fantastic, and I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are awesome. They're really, really good. Looking forward to breaking down that game and more on today's show. But Kyle, I'm not going to lie to you. I need this show today to get the Bluey theme song out of my freaking head. Are you familiar with Bluey?
Yes, I am familiar with Bluey.
My son is obsessed with Bluey right now. And Bluey is a phenomenal show. It's like if you watch Bluey with your kid, adults, you will end up watching the show more than your kid does. Bluey is amazing.
Yes, it has adult themes in the show.
Very much so. Bluey is more about parenting than it is about the kids. It's just disguised as a kid's show. Bluey is awesome, but its intro is unbelievably catchy, super simple, and will not get out of your head. And I cannot. I mean, I was like dreaming about the Bluey theme song last night. I cannot get it. Yep, Mom. Yeah, the whole thing stuck in my head. I am very much looking forward to talking sports for 4 hours, hearing the music of the rejoiners that you have for us, just to get this damn theme song out of my head. And we grew up, at least I grew up, with some elite themes in cartoons. Especially, I was talking with Kayla yesterday about I grew up as a Nickelodeon kid, so the classic SpongeBob theme or Fairly Odd Parents or whatever, Jimmy Neutron. We had some amazing themes growing up.
Yeah, that Fairly Odd Parents one had no reason going as hard as it did.
Fairly Odd Parents was that theme hit different, right? We grew up with some amazing themes in the 90s and early 2000s cartoons. Nowadays, themes are catchy, don't get me wrong, but nowadays themes are not the same. Although there are some themes that go hard, like the Spidey and His Amazing Friends theme. Have you ever heard that theme? That theme goes hard.
I don't think I have.
I'm pretty sure the singer from Panic at the Disco is the lead singer in that theme and Hot Wheels Let's Race. That's another
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the lead singer.
What a crazy poll that is.
I could be wrong, but it sure sounds like him.
What is it? Brennan Urie?
Is that his name? I don't know. I just recognize the voice.
No, but he that was before he was like super, super famous, which is crazy.
So if anybody out there understands the struggle of the Bluey theme song just being stuck in your head until the end of time, you know what I'm going through. It's a wonderful show.
I will say
can't get any help.
The Bluey one's a little bit better. Like, remember when we were all singing that Baby Shark song for however long that was?
That's not a theme, though. That's just a song that, by the way, like everybody, there are a billion YouTube like companies now that just have their own version of Baby Shark. And by the way, I know they have the YouTube for Kids thing. YouTube for Kids is terrifying. My son went through, when he was like 2 years old, he went through a phase where he wanted to watch these like computer-made, AI-made kids videos on YouTube. And these companies make so much freaking money because the amount of views that they get from parents just mindlessly putting their kid in front of this, and it keeps playing video after video after video just to buy you an hour of peace. These videos are terrifying. If you ever go down a rabbit hole of like AI-made kids videos on YouTube, it's creepy. It got to a point where I was like, my son can't watch YouTube. There's some weird stuff. And I'm not saying weird like the weird you think like awful and not good for kids. It's just weird content that you can tell computer programs made directed at children, and it's YouTube for Kids is not for me. Let's put it that way.
I've seen some of these videos before, and it's kind of weird. Back when I was working part-time here, I used to do a little bit of like substitute teaching, and sometimes it'd be like with 7, 8, 9-year-olds, and they'd try to explain these things to me that they're seeing on YouTube, and I couldn't comprehend it because I have no reference point for what it is that these things are. And I get it, like kids kind of live in their own world, but like nowadays, like you said, there's such a financial incentive and anyone can do it. It used to be like you had to go work for PBS or there were like some guardrails at Nickelodeon. Now it's like anyone can start a YouTube channel and just start uploading stuff on YouTube for kids.
And these channels make so much money, right? I also, like, have you ever in your life seen Coco Melon?
I haven't, but I know that it's
horrifying. horrifying.
I know it's really bad.
My son went through a very, very, and thank God it was a very short Cocomelon phase, and my wife was okay with it. I was not. Cocomelon cannot be on in my presence.
It's like a brain rot thing, right?
It's brain rot meets just the creepiest animation meets horrible songs. Oh, we got to do better with kids' content. Bluey is good kids' content. But
which we had to go to Australia where there's rules about what kids' content can be instead of America, where it's just like the market never lies, baby.
Well, they've got it right. They've got it right over there because Bluey's a good show. But now I'm eager to talk about De'Aaron Fox stinking it up last night and the San Antonio Spurs losing just to help get the damn Bluey theme out of my head. So let's not.
It doesn't really matter.
And it does, De'Aaron. It does. So now here's the difference with me. I know people going already in the comment section taking their victory laps. That's fine, man. You dish it, you got to be able to take it. And the one thing that I said was that if De'Aaron Fox doesn't play well, we're going to talk about it. When De'Aaron Fox plays well, we're going to talk about it. And De'Aaron Fox did not play well last night. You know who also didn't play well? Victor Wembanyama. People are going to look at his blocks, and we'll talk about his blocks in a bit because he had a incredible night in terms of like a historic night in terms of, 12 total blocks that he ended with last night. He was sensational. However, some of those blocks, if we're being honest, should not have been blocks. And that triple-double that Wemby finished with disguises the terrible offensive night that Victor Wembanyama had. And I'm not directing all the attention to him to hide De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron was not good. De'Aaron was not good in last night's game. A lot of times plus-minus is misused. But when you look at a plus-minus and you look at a starting five, and you see +7, +5, +7, +4, and then -13, and you're the -13, you have to wear some of that. De'Aaron Fox did not do his job last night. Now, he scored 8 of his 10 points in the fourth quarter. It looked like he was finally starting to wake up, but it was a bit too little too late. And this is where I understand the criticisms of like an Allen Styles. Well, he only shows up sometimes. I don't believe that De'Aaron was not trying to be impactful early in the game. He was. He was just getting clamped by Mike Conley. The Timberwolves defense, period, last night was sensational. Was really, really good. I've already respected the Timberwolves. I have a new level of respect for Minnesota because I think this series is going to come down to, Kyle and I were talking about this before the show started. This series really is the experience versus youth. The T-Wolves have that experience. It's weird to look at the T-Wolves as like an older team because they're not really, kinda, but they are one of the most experienced teams in the playoffs. And they tried to give that game away. Oh boy, did they. They had that costly turnover late that allowed the Spurs to cut it down to a 2-point game. Spurs get the stop. I respect the call. Mitch Johnson not calling a timeout. It resulted in a great look for Champagnie, who has been a lights-out three-point shooter for the Spurs this season. I don't think they regret that moment at all. And I totally appreciate it over getting the ball to Wemby or getting the ball to Fox in those spots because Wemby and Fox offensively were not good. Both of them made poor decision after poor decision the entire night. And Wemby took responsibility for that. After the game, he talked about it. In fact, Kyle, can we play this? It's kind of a no-duh quote from Wemby here. It's not like it's groundbreaking. But what I like about this is Wemby takes ownership and he talks about the offensive leaders. And when he's talking about offensive leaders on this team, he's talking about him and he's talking about De'Aaron Fox.
Vic, we've been asking you for 3-4 months now about how you thought this team was going to react when it got into a close playoff game against a team that had been there before. What did you feel about the way this team reacted to that situation this first time?
I think there was some good and some bad. And I think the bad was, as I said, not going to what we know. But, I mean, it's a lot on me because obviously my game wasn't good, wasn't feeling good tonight. And that's where the team is going to look for me, you know. And, you know, if I had been better, if the offensive leaders of our team had been better, it would have been different.
Yeah, I mean, Wemby, I'm glad Wemby takes ownership of it. De'Aaron Fox has to take ownership of it too. And I promise you he is. Again, I'm not wearing a backwards De'Aaron Fox jersey and wearing sunglasses today. No duh. That's a bit.
It would have been funny if you did.
It would have been. Fox did not play well. He's going to bounce back. He's going to be fine. I'm very curious to see how De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs bounce back in Game 2, because now they've lost home court advantage, and they lost it to a team that has more experience than them. Now, the Spurs should still win this series. I do believe the Spurs are the better team, and they played terribly offensively and nearly had that game, against the T-Wolves. So I think the Spurs are going to be just fine. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be just fine. But he was bad last night. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to come on here and stubbornly try to pretend like the game didn't happen. 10 points in 33 minutes, 5 of 14 from the field, 6 turnovers, really bad. Wemby, 11 points, 5 of 17 from the field, 0 of 8 from three-point range. His decision-making, especially late in the game, offensively, was not good. Stephon Castle had a much better game than De'Aaron Fox offensively, but here's the problem with Stephon Castle. He fouled out of the game. You can't do that. You can't have that. Dylan Harper had a good game off the bench as well, 18 points, 7 of 13 from the field. So the two younger guards offensively stepped up and had better games than De'Aaron Fox did. That's not the first time that this has happened this playoffs. But De'Aaron Fox, just as many times as that has happened, De'Aaron Fox has stepped up, has led the team, has closed out games. He had those huge games at the end of that Blazers series, and the Spurs are going to need him to do that again. So there's no other way to look at it. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. Fox wasn't good enough. He knows that. I don't subscribe to, I see people in the chat talking about, oh, he had the playoff jitters. No, he didn't. He didn't play well. He missed shots, and the Timberwolves defense shut the Spurs half-court offense down, period. That defense was really, really good.
Man, Rudy Gobert is just flipping his reputation. In like one postseason, he's gone from the guy who you just put him out on an island and he keeps getting cooked by the smaller guards, whether it was Shea in the playoffs last year or Luka in 2024, to now he's like, oh no, Rudy Gobert might be the most valuable player on the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's an incredible flip. And the playoff experience thing we know in the NBA is so real, but to your point, like, it's weird to think, because this Minnesota team is relatively young, but it's weird to think of them as a super experienced playoff team.
Yeah.
Rudy specifically, I was looking it up. Rudy has more career playoff games than the Spurs' entire 8-man rotation does. But we don't think of Rudy that way, but he's been around for so long and played in so many big playoff games that they are the experienced team. And historically speaking, this is the moment where a team like the Spurs, great regular season, but has no playoff experience apart from Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
No playoff experience. That team falls apart against the more experienced team. You have to do some losing before you can win in the NBA. That's historically what ends up happening. Minnesota went through it a couple years ago.
Yep.
OKC went through it in 2024. This typically is what happens in the NBA, but the Spurs were this crazy team, and Wemby's the defensive player of the year. We just thought the Spurs would be unflappable until they got to Oklahoma City, and it seems like the Spurs are kind of more the following the normal trend than being the aberration.
Yeah, I'm not subscribing to that yet, though, because, again, the Spurs played terribly offensively the entire game and nearly still won it. Like, the Spurs are still unbelievably talented. Victor Wembanyama is absolutely going to play better. De'Aaron Fox is absolutely going to play better. Like, there's no ifs, and they were one shot away from stealing this game from one of their best three-point shooters who had a wide open look. The Wolves themselves might be more experienced, but the Wolves have a hump that they haven't cleared yet either. So I understand what you're saying, and the NBA historically, the team with the less experience is supposed to lose in these situations or has lost in these situations. But the San Antonio Spurs as a team, to me, are completely different. They are loaded with talent. They are incredibly deep. They can survive nights where one of their top guys isn't playing well. The problem is their top two guys last night did not play well at all, and still they nearly won it on a game winner. So that if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm encouraged by that today. But if they lose game 2, they're losing the series. How they respond in game 2 on their home floor is going to decide it. If they go to Minnesota down 0-2, it's not this, well, they came back against Portland, they can do it against Minnesota. They came back against Portland because Portland's just as inexperienced as they are. The T-Wolves, even with a hobbled Anthony Edwards, who still looked phenomenal last night, we'll talk about Ant in a second, the T-Wolves are not blowing a 2-0 lead. They're not going to do it, especially going home.
Probably not. And I feel like the Spurs part is going to be the topic of conversation because it's Wemby, because it's Fox, because they're the team that's supposed to get to Oklahoma City. But maybe it's just about like Minnesota is actually much better than we give them credit for. I remember last year I kept saying Minnesota's going to go to the conference finals. They're going to go to the conference finals. Even though they're the 6th seed, they are really, really good. And they did. And this year, I didn't feel like Minnesota was as good as last year. Like they're starting to go on the descent because of the San Antonios, the Oklahoma Cities, teams of, Denver, teams of those sorts. But maybe Minnesota's been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. Mm-hmm. Like Minnesota is that team that for the last however many years has been at the top of the sport. And maybe we're all just not respecting Minnesota enough and how good that team actually is.
Because they haven't gotten it done yet. They haven't gotten over the hump yet. And that's the thing. And no one is going to expect them to get over the hump until they get past OKC. Like that's the thing. Even if they get past the Spurs, which they very much could. Some people would say they should now that they've gotten home court advantage back. OKC is going to be the test no matter what. OKC is the measuring stick for everybody. And if you get past OKC, you win the NBA championship, in my opinion. No disrespect to the East. Like we'll talk about when we're previewing game 1 of the Pistons-Cavaliers tonight. The Pistons are not looked at that same way anymore as the number 1 seed. Boston is now out. The New York Knicks are the hope that the East has.
But here comes Mike Brown.
We'll talk about them in the next segment. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, though. Listen, I get it. I get the what have you done for me lately. I certainly subscribe to it when celebrating the success of De'Aaron Fox. I still stand on De'Aaron Fox has been far better than he's been bad in these playoffs and throughout his career. But people just like to pick at low-hanging fruit and take your victory laps. I see it, comment section. Have your fun today. Just keep that same energy if Fox continues to struggle, or keep that same energy when De'Aaron Fox plays well. Because the issue that I have is that when De'Aaron Fox does play well, people find every excuse to undermine it, every excuse to have an issue with it. But when De'Aaron Fox plays bad, now it's all pile on De'Aaron Fox. It's all De'Aaron Fox's fault. Suddenly when De'Aaron Fox doesn't or plays well, it's because Victor Wembanyama's out there. But De'Aaron Fox plays bad. Wemby played worse. Well, I wouldn't say that. De'Aaron had the worst game on the Spurs last night. Wemby did not play well either, but he's the top guy. No one's talking about that. It's okay. It's okay. Just look for that consistency. What you're going to get from me is that De'Aaron Fox did not play well. We're going to talk about it. De'Aaron Fox plays well. We're going to talk about it. And here we go. We have crazy De'Aaron Fox trades coming out now on social media. Again, after one game, like everybody immediately, and it's coming out of San Antonio. That's the crazy thing to me.
Yeah.
I expect the pettiness out of Sacramento because people, 1, are still grumpy about how it ended, and 2, still don't want to fully grasp the reason why it ended the way it did. That's fine. Doesn't matter how often I tell you the truth, you're going to believe what you want to believe. That's totally fine. I expect the pettiness from Sacramento. I expect people like Sam Quinn, for example, who put out a De'Aaron Fox for Kevin Durant trade idea. That's content. I understand that. You got people in San Antonio putting out trade ideas like what if the San Antonio Spurs were to trade De'Aaron Fox to the Phoenix Suns and in a 3-team deal get Zach LaVine from the Sacramento Kings. That's an actual thing on Spurs Twitter that I came across this morning.
That's got to be sarcastic.
No, it's genuine. It's genuine.
There's no way.
There was a conversation. People are talking on the morning show this morning. Would you trade De'Aaron Fox or would you trade Zach LaVine to bring De'Aaron Fox to Sacramento? What the hell are we doing here? You're damn right we would. Oh, but the contract. Look at the player, man.
I get that the contract is scary to people in San Antonio. I remember when he first signed the contract, people in San Antonio were like, what? What did we just give De'Aaron Fox? But the contract is always going to be the conversation now because of how the aprons work.
Y'all don't have to worry about paying Harper or even Wemby for a minute. You don't have to worry about paying Castle for a minute. Just enjoy what you have, man, because you have a damn good San Antonio Spurs team, and that's the difference with that group. Is even on a night where Wemby is really bad offensively, he's still a game changer defensively. Although I agree, a lot of his blocks should not have been blocks. Some of his blocks were fouls. Many of his blocks were goaltends. In fact, here is Minnesota Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch talking about some of those blocks, air quotes, post game.
Chris, do you feel like obviously Wembanyama had all those blocks, but Do you feel like your group got more comfortable with figuring out how to sort of navigate getting to the basket over the course of the game? Is that how that works?
A little bit. A little bit better spacing, a little bit better off-ball movement. He had a lot of block. He had a couple uncalled goaltendings too, so, those are valuable points we'd like to have back. But, I thought there was smarter offense to be had in the second half, and I think we did a better job of finding that.
Yeah, Finch is right, though. You can go back and you can find highlight reels of Wemby's blocks that weren't actually blocks. But either way, Wemby has a bad game. He still drastically impacts the game on the defensive side of the floor. Of course, we know how good of a rebounder is when he's 8 feet freaking tall. De'Aaron Fox is going to have a better game. He can step up as the closer when the Spurs need. He did that a number of times in just the last series. You're going to have games where Stephon Castle is on. You're going to have games where Julian Champagnie is raining threes. You're going to have games where Dylan Harper is playing well. That's the magic of this Spurs team that built a team in a way that no longer is going to be available. You got 3 straight top 5 picks in the draft. You did well on all 3 of those picks. You added talent like De'Aaron Fox for quite literally nothing because the Sacramento Kings made one of the stupidest trades that they could make. And here you are, right? The Spurs are still very dangerous because they have so many weapons and so many different ways to beat you. And it's not just game-by-game basis. It's even quarter-by-quarter, half-by-half. We saw that in the closing game when the Spurs beat the Portland Trailblazers. The first half, Champagnie was rolling and the offense was rolling and Fox was distributing. Then second half, De'Aaron Fox closes it down. That was another game where Wemby offensively didn't do a whole lot because he didn't have to because he's got so many players around him. That's the veteran presence of the San Antonio Spurs that makes them really, really interesting. But this T-Wolves team, man, they are legit scary. Their defense is incredible. And that's the thing about this Minnesota Timberwolves team. They embody the modern NBA because that is a group of guys that knows what their roles are, knows how to do their job, and they do it well. From Jaden McDaniels, who's been sensational these playoffs, to Mike Conley has been fantastic for the T-Wolves. Just knowing his role, knowing what he's supposed to do, and taking that role on. And then Anthony Edwards coming back early from an injury that we didn't expect him to come back from this soon, coming off the bench on a minutes restriction, and just looking like himself. Anthony Edwards, he's done this in multiple playoffs, but it's a good reminder. Ant is the future of USA basketball. When LeBron is done, when KD is done, and it's coming, yes, you're going to have these European superstars that might be looked at as the number one guys in the NBA. Ant is the hope and the torchbearer for the future of United States basketball. He's that dude.
Until Cooper Flagg takes it from him.
Nope. Cooper Flagg's not going to do it. It's Ant. Ant is that dude. And he's reminding us, and he reminds us every postseason how unbelievable he is. Anthony Edwards is sensational. Man, and I have so much fun watching him play basketball, even at the expense of De'Aaron Fox and the San Antonio Spurs. We'll take the break. When we come back, I was still smiling last night. Why? Because Mike Brown's game plan with the New York Knicks has been sensational. The Knicks look like a completely different team after falling down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks. And Mike is getting the respect that he deserves. He's getting the attention that he deserves around the league for the adjustments that he's made. And his players, from Jalen Brunson to Karl Anthony Towns, even OG Anunoby, they are responding to him. They kicked the Sixers' butts in Game 1. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's Matt, no Kayla. She'll be back with us tomorrow. But Matt and Kyle here on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself and Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
The statewide direct primary election is June 2nd. All registered voters will receive their ballot in the mail. Check to make sure you're registered correctly at elections.saccounty.gov or call 800-762-8019.
Sacramento! Now you've got a place for all things dance.
The all-new Energy 100.5 HD2.
Where dance music lives. Dance vibes anytime and any place when you get the free Now 100.5 app.
Or listen at 100.5 HD2.
If you're serious about getting better at golf, start with the fit. At Hagen Oaks, everything begins with Total Game Fitting. The TrackMan Player Performance Studio analyzes your swing to match you with the right clubs. Ping's Ballnamic Fitting helps you find the golf ball for your game. The Hagen Oaks Putter Fitting Studio helps you roll it true. And with FootJoy's 3D foot scanner, you'll walk the course in shoes that actually fit. From driver to putter and even what's on your feet, Hagen Oaks fits every part of your game. Total Game Fitting, only at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Champagny moves to his left, fires a three at the buzzer. It's off the front rim, no good. The ball game is over. The Timberwolves have stolen game one in San Antonio, 104-102.
I'm glad the finish to that Timberwolves-Spurs game was as fun as it was because, well, I had fun watching the New York Knicks absolutely dismantle the Philadelphia 76ers, but that game itself wasn't as fun, certainly. Yeah, Mike Brown was probably letting out a roar like that after that game. His Knicks looked sensational against the 76ers, and Kayla and I had talked a lot about the 76ers yesterday. Kayla, by the way, is out today. She will be back with us tomorrow. She is doing a phenomenal job emceeing a pretty big event happening in Sacramento today. So shout out to Kayla. Hopefully she's shining like the star that she is over there. Looking forward to having her back tomorrow. But we were talking about like the respect that we have for the Philadelphia 76ers, and they're coming back from down 3-1 against the Boston Celtics and how good they've looked, and maybe, just maybe, the 76ers could start getting on a run here. And the New York Knicks were the reality check. Like, the adjustments that the Knicks have made after falling down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks. Since that time, guys, the Knicks have dominated everybody in their path on both sides of the basketball. Dominated. Ass kickings on a nightly basis. The defense is sensational and the offense is smooth. Mike Brown has done a phenomenal job with that Knicks team. Of course, it's not just all him. Jalen Brunson is playing fantastic. I really enjoyed, at least in the first half when it was more of a competitive basketball game, we were seeing that Tyrese Maxey versus Jalen Brunson going back and forth. Now, those two weren't really guarding each other very much. But those two are a really, I think, important reminder of how good the scoring guard is, the scoring point guard still is, how essential it still is to success in the modern NBA. And that's a particularly healthy reminder going into a draft that has as many point guards and is considered to have such a talented point guard class like this one. If you're a fan of Darius Acuff Jr., watch Jalen Brunson and watch Tyrese Maxey. Don't just think about Trae Young or John Morant. Watch what those two are doing and think about how he could bring that to whatever team drafts him, even if it's the Sacramento Kings. Right? The scoring point guard very much has a place in the modern NBA, and those two are a great reminder of it. Jalen Brunson's been playing fantastic as of late. Karl Anthony Towns looks like he completely understands and feels comfortable in his role. And speaking of comfortable in their role, OG Anunoby has become the workhorse for the New York Knicks. He has been sensational for them in these playoffs. He's averaging 21.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.8 steals, and 1 block, while shooting 69% from the field and 64% from three-point range in their last 4 blowout wins.
64% from 3 is crazy.
He's been that dude, and I remember very closely, I remember vividly the conversations that we were having in Sacramento when Mike Brown was here, Beam Team 1 and even Beam Team 2, should the Sacramento Kings go after OG? Is it gonna cost them too much? I remember a lot of the conversation was, is it gonna cost them Keegan Murray? Well, maybe they don't want to do that. Do they use draft compensation? Ultimately, the Kings never got the deal done for OG. They never got the deal done for Pascal Siakam. Frustrating, but to see OG now playing in Mike Brown's system and succeeding the way he is with the New York Knicks as of late has been pretty incredible. Also, I love watching Mitchell Robinson play so much, not just because he was a gem of a second-round pick by Scott Perry, who, of course, is now the GM of the Kings. I watch Mitchell Robinson play, and I go, why is that not Dylan Cardwell's career? Like, the way Mitchell Robinson impacts a game, being a rim runner, a rim protector, the energy guy. Why can Dylan Cardwell not be that exact thing for hopefully a successful Sacramento Kings playoff team in the future? I see every bit of Dylan Cardwell in what Mitchell Robinson does, and that's really exciting for me.
Is it just because Mitchell Robinson is 7 foot?
I guess.
That might be it. It's just that Dylan Cardwell's smaller than Mitchell Robinson.
Sure, but Dylan is still a reliable rim protector, a freak athlete. I think Dylan Cardwell is going to have a 7-8 year career in the exact same role that Mitchell Robinson has with the New York Knicks.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they're all here in Sacramento, but that Scott Perry clearly saw something in Mitchell Robinson, and he sees the exact thing. I could tell you verbatim, he sees the exact same thing in Dylan Cardwell for the Kings.
Yeah, I think that's good because I think that is like the best case scenario for what his career is going to look like, is like a Mitchell Robinson type. So I'm glad that that's Scott's vision.
Have you noticed the similarities, and a lot of people are talking about this now and giving Mike Brown his due credit? The New York Knicks are playing a very similar style offensively to how Beam Team 1 played here in Sacramento. They're playing through Karl Anthony Towns a lot like they did Domantas Sabonis. Now, not the exact same way, not super DHO heavy necessarily the entire time, and Karl Anthony Towns is not the passer that Domantas Sabonis is, but he's twice the scorer that Sabonis is. He's much better three-point shooter. But the offense in general has been flowing through and around him. Mike Brown has really found a way to get this team to really buy into his system. It seems like everybody seems to understand what their role is in the system. They're all clicking at the same time, and it's unlocked the New York Knicks to now they're wiping the floor with everybody in their path.
You know, it's funny because I was watching first Game 6 and then Game 1, or no, it was Game 5 in New York and then Game 1 last night, and I started watching the Knicks. I was like, wait, Karl kind of looks like Sabonis a little bit. They're running the high pick and rolls and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, Josh Hart kind of playing like Malik Monk used to. And oh, Jalen Brunson's playing that De'Aaron Fox role a little bit. And then I was reading more, and it's like, oh no, Mike's been trying to implement some of the Beam Team 1 stuff all season long, and it took them going down 2-1 to go back to some of that stuff, and now it's really clicking in a way where they're just blowing teams out of the water 4 games in a row.
I want to read this excerpt from Fred Katz of The Athletic. He writes, during the first 3 games against Atlanta, which included 2 Knicks losses, Brown had leaned on funky lineup combinations.
Terrence Davis?
Mikal Bridges had floated into oblivion. Karl Anthony Towns hadn't dominated with the volume he was capable of against a smaller Hawks roster. By games 4, 5, and 6, when the Knicks pulverized the Hawks 3 consecutive times, earning each victory with an even more throttling punch, a previous yet unfamiliar offense had emerged. The Knicks were running off-ball actions they tried earlier in the season, but back in November, they didn't deploy them nearly as effectively. They were placing Towns in the high post, funneling the attack through him, and allowing an all-star, who spent most of his season feeling uncomfortable in his role, to use his terminology to find the coziest spots on the court. Towns churned out 2 triple-doubles over the final 3 games of the series. The Knicks won Game 4 by 16, then Game 5 by 29, and then a historic Game 6 by 51. This was not the group that had crumbled in Games 2 and 3. It was something new, and that carried over into last night's beatdown of the Philadelphia 76ers. When you're a head coach, the balance is the system you want to run versus the personnel that you have. And one thing that Mike Brown struggled with in Sacramento is he tried to, I think, adjust the system too much without taking enough into account of the talent on his roster. When the Kings were as good as they were, Beam Team 1, they leaned so heavily into offense because that's how that roster was designed. When Mike, and I remember talking about this, I remember arguing with Mike Brown about this. I had public and private conversations with Mike here in Sacramento about, are you sacrificing too much on the offensive end with this focus on defense with the roster that you have? And Mike said publicly and privately, I'm willing to sacrifice a few points per game so that our defense will be a little bit better. Ultimately, we know he struggled with that because the personnel didn't match. It has taken Mike time with the New York Knicks, with all the expectations in the world, taking over for Tom Thibodeau, a future Hall of Famer. It has taken Mike time to get this group to fit into his system and to also mold his system around that group. And we're seeing it click. And now that it's clicked, the New York Knicks look unstoppable. They still have to carry it out. They still have to do it against whichever team comes out of the West, probably the Oklahoma City Thunder, if they make it to the NBA Finals. So it's not like a done deal. The Knicks have won all of a sudden. But we are seeing what the New York Knicks look like optimized. And Mike Brown has found a way to optimize them. And he deserves a ton of credit for that, considering after the Knicks were down 2-1, there were people ready to run him out of town. And Bleacher Report was putting out ridiculous graphics, taking his quotes out of context.
You know, it's really exciting for me because similar to you, I'm rooting for Mike and De'Aaron and all the people that have left to have tremendous success. If it's a Spurs-Knicks finals, I'm going to be thrilled.
Oh, God.
That would be so great.
That'd be exhausting.
But I will say, it's like the fact that we saw it happen in front of our eyes with the Beam team is exciting. But from just a macro perspective, like, this should be really exciting just for the Knicks because they got so much flack for getting rid of Tom Thibodeau. Like, they went to the conference finals, they turned this thing around, and what you're seeing Mike do right now in real time with the Knicks is exactly why they hired Mike Brown in the first place and exactly why they moved on from Tom Thibodeau. It was to take this same group and unlock something different with them. They weren't going to change the roster, but they knew they needed to get better, so they changed the coach, they changed the system, and in real time, you're seeing that kind of pay off for the New York Knicks. Like, they're essentially validated for their decision to move on from Thibodeau and bring in Mike Brown because he's unlocked a different element of a team that, you know, apart from trading for Karl, we've basically seen the same group for 4 years now.
There still is an unproven element of it, though, because Karl-Anthony Towns still has a reputation that he has to shrug off, right? Okay, we're seeing it click. We're seeing it work. Jalen Brunson is the most reliable piece of that team because we've seen him have these massive performances for the Knicks. Karl-Anthony Towns has always been that key to unlocking the next level, and we're seeing what the next level looks like when he plays in that role effectively over the last handful of games. Can that continue, though? That's the big question mark with the New York Knicks. The Knicks are going to win a title or lose a title based upon if this is Karl-Anthony Towns for the rest of the playoffs. If this is who Cat can be, with Jalen Brunson being the player that we know Brunson is, Brunson doesn't have to do anything different. Of course, OG's been sensational. Mikal Bridges hasn't been very good. We can expect him to get better. If this is who the Knicks can be, they can win a title, but I think it truly all rests in Karl-Anthony Towns truly understanding and embracing and consistently figuring out that role. But credit to the Knicks, man. They've looked fantastic. We'll take the break. When we come back, switch gears to baseball a little bit before we get back to the NBA. There are a ton of stories outside of the playoffs around the NBA to get to. Kyle and I will break that all down at 11 o'clock. But coming up next, the San Francisco Giants, they snapped their losing streak while one of their top prospects, Bryce Eldridge, made his debut. But he got overshadowed a little bit by a surprising pitching performance from Trevor McDonald. We'll talk about that. Plus, the A's made a trade because they just lost a star, but for a good reason. We'll talk about it when we return. It's Matt and Kayla, minus the Kayla, but Kyle is in here on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When there are supply constraints on commodities, prices surge. You saw it with fuel prices, with the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And you know what else is a limited commodity? Gold. They mine it out of the ground, and when it's gone, it's gone. Governments can't just print more of it. That's why everyone from central banks to savvy savers are diversified with gold. If you've been thinking about it for years, but have still never moved some of your savings into physical gold, Birch Gold Group is who I trust to help you. Stan Bongino, and now through May 29th, Birch Gold is giving first-time gold buyers a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. For details and a free information kit on diversifying into gold, text Dan to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Text Dan to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate of up to $10,000. Again, text Dan to 989898 today. Message and data rate apply.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Sacramento Rivercats baseball all summer long. The Rivercats Summer Pass gets you into every game this summer with no blackout dates and includes access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club. Lock it in and don't miss a moment. Get your Rivercats Summer Pass at rivercats.com.
Contractors, remodelers, you now have a great supplier to assist you with your next project. Anova Cabinet and Stone in Sacramento. They are Northern California's best kitchen and bathroom remodeling supply store. Anova has the latest cabinet styles, a great selection of countertops, flooring, bathroom fixtures, and more. Visit their website, InovaCabinetStone.com. Take advantage of their grand opening special, a $750 in-store credit. Stop by today, Anova Cabinet and Stone in Sacramento.
Trust EB Stone, where 100 years of expertise means your garden thrives naturally. Try cactus and succulent soil mix and Sure Start or all-purpose fertilizers. Visit ebstone.org for a location near you. EB Stone, for the life of your garden.
Country in the Park is back this weekend at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert, John Barney, Chris Young, Turnpike Troubadours, Dylan Scott, and more. Line dancing live DJs, Mechanical Bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park this weekend, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Carl's Jr., RVs of Sacramento, and Atkins Family Vineyards. More info at CITBfest.com.
When life calls for a little extra, a kitchen upgrade, paying off debt, or that dream vacation, Valley Strong Credit Union is here to help. With a Valley Strong home equity loan, you can tap into your home's value with competitive rates, flexible terms, and local guidance you can trust. Get approved in as little as 5 minutes, with funding in as few as 5 days. Your goals are within reach. Visit valleystrong.com to get your offer today. Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your possibilities. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 456506.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
We'll talk about it a little bit later on Pick a Side. But last night was the famous Met Gala. And of course, you see all these photos coming out of all the amazing outfits. Sacramento King, or I guess former Sacramento King? Question mark? Russell Westbrook, because he's not currently a king. Might be back. We don't know.
We'll call him Sacramento King.
Russell Westbrook was out there looking good amongst all the outfits out there, wearing an all-blue suit but no shirt underneath. I liked it. It was a good look for Russ. Russ is, of course, a fashion icon. I saw a video randomly on Instagram. I don't know when this was posted, but Russell Westbrook was down in the Bay at a, I don't know if it was like a farmer's market, like a craft fair. I don't know what exactly it was, but he stopped by this booth of this independent like clothing designer and bought some stuff from this clothing designer, and was super cool to that guy supporting that small business. So that was pretty cool that Russ was out and about doing stuff like that. But the Met Gala always makes me laugh, Kyle, because it just it's Hunger Games. It's literally Hunger Games. Like if anybody has watched or read the Hunger Games, the capital, which is the evil empire essentially, while all the other districts are basically struggling and suffering, the capital, a bunch of people dress up in these bright, colorful, flamboyant, ridiculous outfits. And the idea is to emphasize, look how rich and happy and well-fed and everything they are, and absurd they are when everybody else is struggling. That's what the Met Gala just gives off, these Hunger Games vibes every single year with these ridiculous outfits. Hey, man, they look great and they're fun to look at. But it makes me laugh every single year.
It's like the Marie Antoinette balls or whatever from the 1700s. It's the new version of that, where everyone's just like, look how crazy and colorful my outfits are and how cool I am, which Russell Westbrook is a funny shout, because you reminded me of the funny stat that I think people were talking about this a few years ago, and I think it's still true, is that James Harden, also known for his crazy flamboyant outfits, James Harden has never been able to attend the Met Gala because his teams have never been eliminated from the playoffs when it happens in the first week of May. Like, Harden's made the second round of the playoffs 11 years in a row, but he's every year he tweets out or used to talk about, I want to go to the Met Gala, but I can't because I'm always in the playoffs every year.
Was James Harden trying to get the Cavs eliminated by the Raptors so that he could go to the Met Gala? There's a fun rabbit hole to go down to piss people off.
He definitely would have wanted to do it on the Sixers.
Well, we'll talk about this later on, but Timothée Chalamet decided, F the Met Gala, I'm going to the New York Knicks game, and I respect the hell out of it.
Timothée.
The San Francisco Giants, sorry, Kyle, they snapped their losing streak at the hands of your Padres last night at Oracle Park. Bryce Eldridge made his debut. He was called up, went 0 for 2 with a walk. Again, all I saw Bryce Eldridge do in Sacramento when I watched him play was just walk. The dude doesn't swing the bat. He did strike out once as well. So his debut was...
Did he strike out looking?
I don't remember.
Probably, if he never swings the bat.
But his debut was overshadowed by Trevor McDonald, who got the opportunity to start last night for the Giants, and he pitched an absolute gem. 7 innings, 2 hits, only 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts as the Giants went on to defeat the Padres and get a tally back in the win column. It was interesting. I was reading an article this morning that talked about Bryce Eldridge being called up. And I think Kayla talked about this a little bit yesterday. It's a message to the Giants that, nobody is safe and we're not waiting around for you to get right. And I appreciate it. Now, for one game, the Giants responded a little bit. They still have a lot of work to do. But I think following the Giants and how they incorporate these young guys and if they're able to turn around this season is going to be very, very interesting over the next few weeks, because we might end up getting to what Kayla and I were debating yesterday. I'm not saying the season is over on May 5th. By the way, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. I'm not saying the season is over necessarily, but I think a fire sale is coming. I think Buster Posey is going to be a seller at the deadline, and I think incorporating these young guys and just giving them as many at-bats or opportunities as possible is going to be the right direction, the right pivot for the San Francisco Giants to go on. And that message, I believe, has been sent through that clubhouse that, hey, we suck. We're not supposed to be this bad. Change is coming because this isn't good enough.
I agree with all of your points yesterday. The one thing that we didn't mention also, and this is just a dumb baseball rules thing, is that there's that service time manipulation thing where, because Bryce Eldridge didn't come up earlier, this doesn't technically count as his rookie year, so he'll hit free agency a year later, which is probably the other reason why they didn't make the call sooner to bring up Bryce, because the offense has been bad all season long. It was bad last year.
Yep.
But the Giants have specifically tried, and a lot of teams do this, but they protected his service time towards free agency by waiting to bring him up. So he'll hit free agency in 2033 or something like that.
And maybe I'm just undermining Bryce Eldridge, and I don't mean to be doing this. Of course, this is an A's fan talking about the Giants. Don't get mad at me, Giants fans. I'm not trying to poo-poo your top prospect here or one of your top prospects. But from what I saw of Bryce Eldridge, he's a Moneyball guy. He gets on base a lot, which is good. But I think Giants fans talk about him as this power bat, and yes, he hits home runs, and he's 6'7", he's big dude, he's got power. But expecting, and I know Giants fans aren't expecting him to step up, and all of a sudden the Giants are going to start nuking home runs because Bryce Eldridge is going to become what Nick Kurtz became for the Athletics. That's not who I believe Bryce Eldridge to be. I could be completely wrong. Eldridge is really good at the plate. He's patient. He draws a lot of walks. He'll get on base. You still need guys to bring him home. And that's been the problem with the Giants, is stringing together consecutive hits, because they're not hitting home runs, string together consecutive hits to bring guys home. That's been a problem for them for years, and especially this season.
It's good that he does draw the walks, though, because all the best power hitters in baseball now, they get pitched around.
Yep, Nick.
So, Judge led the league in walks last year. You know, it's like, if you are that power bat and you have an eye, that's a really valuable skill set.
Switching gears to the A's made a trade. They acquired catcher Jonah Heim from the Braves for cash considerations. Wow, the A's paid to go and get someone. When's the last time they've done that? Well, that name should be a little bit familiar to A's fans because the A's traded him to the Rangers along with Chris Davis back in 2020. Heim batted .231 with 9 hits, 1 homer in 12 games this season with the Atlanta Braves. Why are they making this move? Well, because unfortunately they're down a star. They're down their best bat so far this season, but it's for a good reason. Shea Langoliers is out for the foreseeable future on paternity leave. Congratulations to Shea Langoliers and his lovely wife. I don't know yet if the baby has been born or not. I don't know. I'm going to assume it has been. I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that. I honestly haven't really looked. But Shea is becoming a pops. He's becoming a dad, which means he's going to have that new dad strength when he gets back. Maybe he just cashed in on his new dad strength early. That's why he's been hitting so many home runs. But congratulations to Shea Langoliers, of course, family over everything. I hope the A's will be okay and will be able to continue their success with him out because he's really been the catalyst of that offense so far. The A's, by the way, have a 2-game lead in the AL West, at the top of the AL West. Outside of the Atlanta Braves, that's the biggest division lead in any division in baseball.
That's so
which
crazy.
Which is crazy, isn't it? So a lot of the races are tight, but the A's have a 2-game lead right now in the AL West, and they begin a series with the Philadelphia Phillies tonight in Philly. Of course, the Phillies have been vulnerable. Luis Severino's on the bump for the A's today. The Phillies have been vulnerable, but the A's don't want to take them lightly. So we'll see how they do now going on this road trip. We'll take the break. When we come back, let's get back into the NBA. Dwayne, I see you on hold. I'll get to you too. I know you want to talk about the Giants. We'll talk about that with Dwayne when we come back. And then we'll get into all of these stories around the NBA. We've got lots of NBA coaching search news. The Kevin Durant burner account drama really ruined the Rockets' season. We'll talk about that. The Blazers are preparing to make a big run for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Grady Dick is open for a trade out of Toronto. Should the Sacramento Kings be interested? It makes sense, and it won't cost a lot. And Kyle has a straight-up swap to propose for bringing Grady Dick to Sacramento. That's all coming up next here on Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
With a $49 million player option in front of him, is Zach LaVine a lock to remain with the Kings next season? Or could a diminished role potentially lead the veteran guard to look elsewhere? Hear the entire breakdown from Matt George and Kayla Anderson at SactownSports.com or on the Sactown Sports app. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
I need a little range, step to the range.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club, available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Capital Casino is conveniently located in downtown, 411 16th Street, and has been a part of the greater Sacramento area for over 20 years. They offer the best variety of games in the region in a safe and friendly environment, and there's plenty of parking, all well lit and monitored by security. Come have a great meal at the cafe and restaurant inside. Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. But please always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Injured and you're considering an LA law firm looking to charge you 45% to 50% in attorney's fees? That's overcharging. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years, and I can tell you no matter how complicated your injury case, you should never be charged 45% or 50% in attorney's fees ever. Direct, experienced, unrelenting, and honest local representation matters. It's called Home Court Advantage for a reason. Ashton & Price serious local attorneys for serious people with serious injuries. So for the best local advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave.
What's up? It's Matt George.
What's good? It's Alan Stiles.
With the most trusted voices in the community.
This is Jason Ross.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson.
It's Whitey Gleason.
Ready to help promote your business, both as partners and customers. All you have to do is ask. Pick up the phone, dial pound 250 and say, "Grow my business" to get connected with a team member today. That's pound 250 and say, "Grow my business." Our team will review your product, quickly pair you with a perfect endorser, and create video and audio samples, all at no cost or obligation to you. With the most live and local on-air lineup, a dynamic content-driven website, and a state-of-the-art mobile app, Sactown Sports 1140 is tailor-made to help you connect with a sports audience in Sacramento. So why wait? Dial pound 250 today. Say, "Grow my business," and let us help take you to the next level.
Your business moves fast. Your bank should keep up. At Valley Strong Credit Union, business banking is built for momentum with tools that help you manage cash flow, streamline payments, and fuel growth. Right now, there's never been a better time to switch. Open a new Valley Strong business account and get 3 months of business banking products and services free, up to $750 in value to power your next big move. Because when your business runs stronger, the whole Valley does too. Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your business, grow your future at valleystrong.com/business.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
We have a ton of stories around the NBA to get to here over the next 25 minutes or so. But before we do that, Dwayne, nice enough to hang during the break, wants to talk a little Giants baseball. Now, Dwayne, Kayla's not here to keep you in check, so behave yourself, my friend. How are you on this Tuesday?
Good morning. What's up, Matt? What's up with the homies?
Everything is good, Dwayne. Everything is good.
Hey, if it's cool, I want to talk about Vitello and the two so-called stars over there.
Please do.
On the Giants ball club, man. So one thing, I'll talk about Devers first. So Devers, he's missing fastballs, bro. He's having trouble in the National League. He's having trouble at Oracle. But I will say I see him making some adjustments. I think he's conscious of it because he's getting some RBIs. He's hitting sacrifice flies, dumping the ball where it finds some grass. So he's not over swinging anymore. I see that from Devers, so I'm going to give him some grace. Now, Vitello, bro, what the umpires did to him, he should check that, bro. You can't be trying to clown on some rah-rah, pom-pom. He should have did a Billy Martin, bro. He should have kicked dirt on the plate and spit on the umpire's shoes, bro, because he should have made an example that can't happen, bro. Now all the umpires think that's cool, and it's really not cool from the umpires, bro.
Dwayne, appreciate the call. I think if it sounds like Vitello, as much of a fiery personality as Vitello is, sounds like Vitello might want to stay out of the spotlight as much as possible with how poorly the team is playing right now. But I get Dwayne's point. Shout out Dwayne. Always appreciate Dwayne calling in. And you can be part of the show just like Dwayne, 916-339-1140, 800-920-1140. Feel free to text that number as well, 916-339-1140. Or you can jump in to the YouTube comment section. Hey, you wanna clown on me for De'Aaron Fox's bad game? Feel free to do so. Reach out right now and feel free to weigh in on any of these stories around the NBA today. That
it doesn't really matter.
That's De'Aaron. All these stories around the NBA today that we are going to react to. Sam Amick has been cooking for The Athletic. He shared a lot of...
I'm shamelessly pumping the poll here.
That's Sam. He shared a lot of information regarding the NBA coaching searches that we'll get to in a little bit. But Sam also weighed in on the Rockets situation after they, of course, were eliminated by the Lakers in the first round, and how much Kevin Durant's alleged burner accounts actually played a part in the Rockets not living up to expectations. Here's an excerpt from the report. Several league sources with close ties to the Rockets players indicated the social media situation was a significant distraction, one that may never truly be resolved internally. Durant never discussed the matter in any detail publicly, saying only that he was, quote, not here to get into Twitter nonsense, end quote. Privately, league sources said his teammates agreed to keep the matter in-house while focusing on basketball. It is unclear whether Durant ever clarified to his teammates if the account belonged to him. What an unnecessary mess. And in reality, how much does that impact the basketball that you're playing? On the surface level, maybe not too much, but it does impact the trust between teammates that you need in the modern NBA when team understanding, team basketball, playing your role matters so much. And that provides like a trail of breadcrumbs, a rabbit trail to other things that happened with the Houston Rockets. It just makes you think a little bit, right? Kevin Durant missing most of that first series with an injury. Well, there was the report that came out. I think it was David McMenamin reported it, that the Rockets players didn't even know what the hell was going on with Kevin Durant when he was hurt, right? There just seemed to be a total disconnect. And I don't know what Durant's future looks like in Houston. I don't know if it's true or not. If he had burner accounts on social media talking crap about his players, unfortunately, it's very believable that Kevin Durant would do that.
By the way, it's an insane story where he had a burner account, was in a group chat with random Twitter people talking like Kevin Durant and saying like, man, Şengün can't do blah, blah, blah. And I can't, he's saying I can't trust Jabari Smith Jr. to make a shot. Like, it's crazy, that the whole scandal. And then some dude in the group chat just took screenshots of everything.
It's not that hard to figure stuff like that out. And the fact that, like Sam is reporting here, that it was never fully addressed and that players were told just to keep it quiet, and that Durant never outwardly or publicly denied it, but just said, I'm not getting involved in that kind of stuff. Like, it's just messy. and it invites distractions and obviously caused a rift that the Rockets can't really and never really recovered from. I know there's going to be talk in Houston about, hey, run it back. Do you run it back? And Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross were talking about this yesterday. And I know if they were healthy, if Fred VanVleet had played the whole season, would things have been different for the Houston Rockets? I understand that approach. I understand that desire to run it back. But with the state of the Western Conference and how I believe the top of the Western Conference is only going to get better, the Spurs are only going to get better, the Thunder aren't being knocked down a pedestal anytime soon. You got the T-Wolves that are continuing to ascend. I think the Rockets staying put would be a major mistake by them. And it feels like Kevin Durant coming back and pretending none of this happened is probably not the best route for this organization to go on going forward. I'm not saying that I would bet that Kevin Durant won't be a Rocket because I don't know the situation necessarily. But if I were in charge of the Houston Rockets, I'd be heavily making Kevin Durant available this summer.
So what do you think the pivot is for the Rockets? Is it Giannis? Is it go for the depth pieces again? Because I think their whole vision was okay, we have the young core, which is Reed, Jabari, Şengün, Amin Thompson. Those are the four young guys. And then we've got the four veterans, which is KD, Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams. I'm forgetting someone in this group. But the idea is you mix the older guys with the younger guys, and it'll all kind of mesh together.
Right.
So if you're going after Giannis, you're essentially pivoting from now we don't believe in the young core anymore. Now it's just we're going to be all veterans and we're going to cash in on everything that we've been rebuilding for at this point. I just think they're kind of stuck.
They might be. I don't think the Rockets have what they need to get it done to bring Giannis there. So I have never really considered the Houston Rockets in the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes. I don't remember exactly how much compensation the Rockets gave up in terms of draft compensation to get Kevin Durant. I don't remember off the top of my head.
It was just the 10 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
And Jalen Green, who was part of the young core.
Sure.
So I think the trade was Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the 10 pick, and some seconds.
So technically the Rockets still have control over a lot of their draft picks unless I'm missing another trade.
And they own I think it's Brooklyn pick down the line or something.
So I guess they could entice in terms of the salary swap of KD and Giannis, and then throw a bunch of picks the way of the. So yeah, I mean that's a route for them to consider to improve their team. I know Sam Quinn from CBS put out there the idea of trading for De'Aaron Fox, trading Kevin Durant to the Spurs for De'Aaron Fox, which I think would be foolish by the Spurs, and I think would be brilliant by the Rockets because they need a point guard. And I remember screaming from the rooftops here in Sacramento when the whole Fox situation was going on, do not just fold to Fox's demands and wishes to go to the San Antonio Spurs. Talk to the Rockets, because the Rockets had a lot of assets that maybe they'd be more willing to move on from because they've needed a point guard. No disrespect to Fred VanVleet. He's coming back from a significant injury. I know he's a good player. I don't think Fred VanVleet is the difference between the Rockets making a deep playoff run or not. I just don't think he's that impactful at this point in his career.
They did say ESPN also put out a Rockets story yesterday. It was McMenamin and a couple other people, or I think Ramona Shelburne. But it's yes, VanVleet, the player, might not be that important, but he is the leader of that team, basically,
Great.
Which matters to a certain extent. But you have a chance to get De'Aaron Fox, or you have a chance to get an all-star point guard. You're probably jumping at the opportunity if you're the Rockets. By the way, I also forgot about Tari Eason, who is a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do with that situation.
I just think when trust is broken in a locker room, especially amongst their top guys, that's very, very difficult to come back from. Almost impossible to come back from. Unless Kevin Durant sits down at a table with the guys, if this is true, and it seems like it is, he sits down at a table with Şengün and Jabari Smith and everybody, and they just hash this out and go, yeah, I was wrong, I shouldn't have done this. Even then, though, can those players fully trust that Durant is going to have their back if something goes wrong? Because the Rockets, if even if Durant stays and everything is happy between teammates, the Rockets still have a tremendous hill to climb. They are not in the tier with the top teams in the West. They're being left behind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that trust is broken, and when trust is broken, you typically have to make a change. And I think the Rockets know, unfortunately, who the issue is, and it's Durant.
I guess the argument for the Rockets is growth internally, but growth internally is the young guys, right? It's Şengün making an extra leap.
Şengün wasn't as good as we thought he would be in the playoffs.
No, he was not. And it's Amin Thompson potentially looking like an all-star. It's Reed Shepherd, who had a tough start to his career, but, it's looking better. He kind of filled into that sixth man role. Maybe it's Reed Shepherd eventually taking the starting point guard role. I guess that's the hope the Rockets are holding on to. It's not, I don't think, going out and getting another veteran or trading Kevin Durant for another group of veteran players. I don't think that's the pivot. I just feel like they're kind of stuck. I think they're going to have to bring KD back for another year. They're going to try and see if it works out, and then at the deadline, they'll decide if they think they can keep KD or they want to keep KD or kind of what the options are.
Yeah, KD is making $43.9 million next season, and then he has a $46 million player option the final year. That's not a unmovable contract. The fact that Kevin Durant makes less money than both Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis is certainly something.
Kevin Durant for Zach LaVine?
No.
No.
Yes. No. No for everybody, and yes for everybody at the same time.
Everybody is not having it.
Ugh. Kevin Durant, look, Kevin Durant's an absolute superstar. No thank you to Kevin Durant in Sacramento. And no thank you to Zach LaVine in Houston. If Houston wants to win series, I don't know if that would be the move for them.
So Kevin Durant's other team of preference is the Miami Heat, right? Do you think Andrew Wiggins and Davion Mitchell is going to turn around the Houston Rockets? I don't think that's the plan either.
It depends on if they were to do something like that. I think that could be a better team. I think Davion Mitchell fits into Ime Udoka's style. I think Andrew Wiggins, and we've seen throughout Andrew Wiggins' career, he can play a role effectively in the right team. The question, it's the same with Durant versus trading Durant. Who's the star of the team? And if it's supposed to be Şengün, are you feeling good about that after how that season went? Amin Thompson has tremendous upside, is phenomenal defensively, but have we seen what's the next step for him offensively? I see the Rockets being a good team that lacks that superstar to go to that is going to be needed to make that deep playoff run, let alone get to the NBA Finals or even win the NBA Finals. So the Rockets are in tough shape, but I think obviously trust seems to be waning or broken in that locker room. And when that happens, some kind of change needs to happen. And when it's one guy, in theory, hypothetically, allegedly, in Kevin Durant, that's broken the trust by social media burner accounts and talking you-know-what about his teammates online, the fix is staring you in the face. It's move on from Kevin Durant.
Also, kind of the takeaway from the Amex story and the ESPN story is look, we know Kevin Durant's never really been a leader of the locker room guy. It just seemed like Kevin Durant doesn't vibe with the young players on the Rockets. He's not taking the time to really Who
does Kevin Durant vibe with, though? I mean, he's bounced around from group to group to group to group, and every single place he goes to, there's some reason why Kevin Durant wasn't happy and it didn't work. And I admire the hell out of Kevin Durant, the basketball player, but I don't care anymore. Play basketball or retire. I don't care about, if I'm an organization, I do not feel any sort of obligation to appease Kevin Durant at this point in his career. The Rockets should be looking at that core over Kevin Durant, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think probably so. Or they're just going to be stuck and won't find a good enough trade and just run it back next year.
Which there's a very good likelihood of that happening too. The NBA coaching searches are heating up. Let's talk the New Orleans Pelicans search first. According to Sam Amick, Darvin Ham and former Sacramento King, Boston Celtics legend, Rajon Rondo are finalists for the Pelicans coaching job. I would give it to Rondo. I think I covered Rondo very briefly in his time here in Sacramento. Very briefly. One of the smartest dudes on the planet. That dude is brilliant. There's a reason why he was as good of a point guard as he was for the Boston Celtics. He is so unbelievably smart. I think Rajon Rondo as a head coach would be brilliant. I think the Pelicans need a new regime, a refresh. They need something new. They've got pieces there that are intriguing. Going with Darvin Ham, after everything that's happened with Darvin Ham, what happened in L.A., I think Rajon Rondo is the move for the New Orleans Pelicans. I hope they give him that shot. I would love to see what Rajon Rondo looks like as a head coach in the league.
So it's, those like most interesting man in the world commercials. Rajon Rondo feels like that right now because from what I understand, his two options are either go be an NBA head coach or be the quarterback of the Olympic flag football team, which is apparently something Rajon Rondo is apparently the best flag football quarterback in America right now.
I would never have guessed that.
No, I wouldn't have either. But everyone keeps posting about like Rajon Rondo is this incredible flag football quarterback on the side.
He just feels meant to be a head coach, right? He's the point guard. He's the floor general. He was never the superstar of the Boston Celtics. He played with the big three, of course, of Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. But he was the engine, man. He ran that team. He was the extension of Doc Rivers. I mean, some things in life just make sense. Rajon Rondo being a head coach in the NBA absolutely makes sense with how brilliant of a basketball mind that he is. And I think the Pelicans are a great team to give him that shot.
Yeah, I think The Athletic does that poll every year where it's like which current player would make a great head coach, and they usually pick the point guards.
Yep.
But Rondo, I'm sure, was one of those people they used to always say, oh, he'll be a great head coach one day. He'll be great in understanding basketball. And yeah, I think you're right. The Pelicans, it doesn't come with the same level of expectation. You have a chance to develop a young core. Jeremiah Fears needs some like real coaching if he's going to end up being the star point guard that they kind of hope he's going to be. So yeah, I feel like that Rajon Rondo would certainly get their fan base more excited than Darvin Ham. I'll say that.
Well, according to Sam Amick, Tom Thibodeau is potentially eyeing a return to Chicago, where he, of course, was the legendary head coach of the Derrick Rose MVP teams. And the report from Sam is the 68-year-old was fired from his Knicks post last summer, but is looking for the right fit for his coaching future again. And yes, league sources say that includes the prospect of a Bulls reunion if the Reisendorfs and new executive vice president of basketball operations Bryson Graham, who was hired away from the Atlanta Hawks on Monday, had interest. So I reached out to a buddy of mine, Big Dave, who we will have on the show at some point. Big Dave works for CHGO Sports in Chicago. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. His coverage of the Bulls is sensational. Reached out to him just to see, like, hey, you interested at all about a Tom Thibodeau reunion? I reached out to him this morning. This is the response that I got. All caps. Hell no. That's the response that I got from Big Dave, and he seems to have a pretty good finger on the pulse of what Chicago Bulls fans are thinking. Does not like the retread idea of Tom Thibodeau in Chicago.
Yeah, I that was kind of my thought, was why would the Bulls want to do that?
Why would Thibodeau want to do that? I would be eyeing that Orlando Magic job before I'd be looking at Chicago. They're starting a big rebuild.
Yeah, and Thibodeau, I guess, in the advanced age is one thing too. You know, he's 60. He would be the oldest head coach in the NBA if he got hired tomorrow, and the Bulls are starting a rebuild. But like, as we do more of the retread coaches, and also I feel like there's just less coach openings than there used to be. Like, it used to be like coaches were getting fired every 1 to 2 years, and it doesn't feel like the league does that anymore.
Thank God.
Like, now that there's less coaching openings, I feel like there's so many assistant coaches in the NBA looking for their first job that there's like an oversaturation of talented assistants.
I agree with you. I think the NBA has done well to start to break the mold of retread coaches. Like, unlike Major League Baseball, where the same guys just get jobs and bounce around the league, the NBA has really put an emphasis on lead assistants and the next crop of, and when you have success stories like, Eric Spoelstra came up through the Miami Heat system, so he's a good one to look at.
He was a video coordinator in Miami.
He went all the way up the ranks and has become one of the staple head coaches in the league. He's been phenomenal and will be synonymous with the Heat forever. Who am I blanking on? There's a couple of young We haven't really seen it yet with Will Hardy.
Will Hardy.
Yeah, that's the Will Hardy voice that Kayla normally does. Kayla will be back with us tomorrow, by the way. She's emceeing an event in Sacramento.
But like Charles Lee, Jordy Fernandez, Jordan Ott.
Those guys haven't necessarily proven it yet, but they've gotten opportunities because of the success of guys that came before. It's driving me crazy that I can't think of the freaking name of the Celtics head coach right now.
Mazzulla?
Tom Mazzulla. Thank you. Jeez Louise. I mean, like, he's one of the youngest coaches in the league, but has made the opportunity. He took over for Brad Stevens, who, of course, has become executive extraordinaire.
Well, there was also one thing in between also.
We don't have to worry about that part.
There was also that one other thing that happened in between Brad Stevens and him.
Shout out Ime Udoka. Yes.
Ime also counts on this list, too.
He does. Like, I like the league. I like the fact that the league is not going through head coaches as quickly as they used to, and I like the fact that the NBA is leaning towards the next generation of coaches and the young minds and the lead assistants who grow and work their way through with years of being on coaching staffs. And then typically you'll see guys that maybe they were head coaches in the G League that get opportunities, or maybe they got the opportunity to host or to coach a summer league team and had success with that and then worked their way up. We've seen that in Sacramento, of course, too. So I'm glad the league is going that way. I love Rajon Rondo for the Pelicans for a lot of reasons. Do not like Tom Thibodeau for the Chicago Bulls. I don't like him for the Magic either, but if I'm Tibbs, I'm going after that Magic job.
Yeah, it's better than the Bucks or the Bulls jobs.
But then you have Steve Kerr. Who is apparently choosing between ESPN and the Warriors. ESPN is hoping and encouraging Steve to step away from coaching so that he can come back to broadcasting, where he was a very good broadcaster for ESPN before he took the job over from Mark Jackson. It sounds like, and the reports are that, and I think it was Mark Stein that reported this yesterday, that it's more likely than not that Steve returns to the Warriors. They're having meetings about it this week. There might have even been a meeting yesterday. It was unclear when the meeting was. Another meeting between Steve and the Warriors organization. I would put my money on Steve Kerr coming back. I think it makes the most sense for Steve to come back and finish out the Steph Curry era of Golden State Warriors basketball. Just put Kerr on the exact same contractual timeline as Steph. Have them ride off into the sunset together the same way Popovich and Tim Duncan should have. And then Steve can go and take this ESPN job that's waiting for him. I think that's the right route for him to go. But it sounds like ESPN is very much like, hey, come on over now. Get out. Leave Golden State. You don't need to go back.
Yeah, I think ESPN is kind of stuck with how to revive that broadcasting booth because it's changed a lot in recent years. They got rid of Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. Then it was J.J. Redick. Then J.J. Redick left. Then it was Doris Burke. And then they got rid of Doris Burke. And now it's Richard Jefferson, I think, and Tim Legler. Like, ESPN's just trying to find anything to get that broadcast booth feeling like it did with Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. But
grasping at straws.
Yeah.
Much like the Sacramento Kings are going to be for talent. Before we take the break, I want to touch on this really quick. Grady Dick is open to a trade out of Toronto, according to reports. Grady Dick, of course, was the 13th overall pick for the Toronto Raptors a handful of years ago, and he completely fell out of the rotation in Toronto this season. This is his third year in the league. He played 76 games for the Raptors this year, which technically, funny enough, is the most games he's played in a season for the Raptors, but he plummeted offensively. He dropped from 14.4 points per game last season, his sophomore season, to 6 points per game. His three-point shooting dropped from 35% to 30%, but so did his volume. He dropped from 6 3-point attempts a game to 2.4. So he just kind of got pushed out in Toronto, and I understand defensively maybe he wasn't up to the standard of the Toronto Raptors, which is one of the reasons why he got his spot in the rotation taken from him. Grady Dick is not going to cost you a lot to go out and get. He doesn't have a tremendous amount of value. The Sacramento Kings need three-point shooting. If there can be a very cheap, easy way to get Grady Dick in Sacramento for that three-point shooting, I think that's something that Sacramento Kings should look at. They could consider, because why can't Grady Dick play maybe a more involved, more consistent in terms of playing time Doug McDermott role for the Sacramento Kings, where he's out there to space the floor. He comes off the bench, plays a handful of minutes a night. He's out there to shoot and improve the three-point shooting because, again, the Kings' three-point shooting, they were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league this year. That's something they definitely need to improve. Kyle, you have an idea. You have a way to make this happen.
Okay, I've been saying this since like last summer because it's just a really funny scenario. When you go through the trade machine on Fanspo, it lists the contracts of the players. And when I was looking at Toronto and Sacramento, I laughed about how Grady Dick and Devin Carter, because they were both the 13th picks in the draft, have the exact same salary slots. So like, let's say that the Kings came back to the table, and this isn't going to happen, but the R.J. Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, and 2 first-round picks offers on the table for Sabonis. The Raptors and Kings could theoretically add Grady Dick and Devin Carter to the trade. It would have no financial consequence because they make the exact same money. No one would get any salary cap relief. It wouldn't affect the trade market at all. But theoretically, you could just swap Grady Dick for Devin Carter, and it would work. They're the same contract. They're essentially the same player. Would either team want each other? Probably not, but they could just say, you take our problem child, we'll take your problem child, and see if we can make it work.
So I'm looking at Spot Track, and Grady Dick is in the final year, or going into the final year of his 4-year rookie scale contract, which is the second-year club option, which I assume the Raptors have already picked up,
yes,
for $7.1 million. Devin Carter is going into year 3 of his 4-year rookie scale contract, which the Kings have already accepted that option, at 5.1. So technically, the contract is very similar, but Devin Carter's a year behind Grady Dick in that sense.
Devin Carter, they're also going to probably decline his 4th-year option.
In theory, you would, but you could potentially just, like you're talking about, swap the two. I would do it. I don't think Devin Carter's a part of this future. The Kings need shooting. Take a flyer. Why not?
I mean, here's the thing, though. Grady Dick's career high is like 37% three-point shooting, 35%, something like that.
Yeah.
You can't play defense and not be a 40% shooter. So he's got to figure out the shooting thing like at an NBA level.
For sure. That would be. But I'm not looking at Grady Dick to come in here and be like an essential part of the rotation. You take a flyer on someone who the Raptors have pretty much given up on. At least it looks that way. And I don't think a lot of teams are going to be lining up to throw a lot out there to go and get him, or what can the Raptors expect? I'd do it just to take a flyer, just to take a look at it, but I have no idea if the Sacramento Kings have any interest whatsoever. We'll take the break. When we return, we got 2 more playoff games to look forward to tonight. Cavs and Pistons game 1, Lakers and Thunder game 1, and LeBron James is facing something he's never, ever faced before. I'll explain when we return. It's Matt Kayla on Sactown Sports.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 17th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 17th. We'll see you there.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. The Travel Guys, new on KHTK 1140 every Saturday at 11 a.m.
We'll make you a smarter traveler. Tips you can use on the road and at the airport, plus reports from top consumer advocates.
The Travel Guys, 11 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
At Big O, we offer total auto care to make any car problem feel like no problem at all. We keep the scary lights off and help you get back on the road. From free inspections to oil changes and tire rotations. Now through May 24th, get $80 to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Nexen, Nitto, or Sumitomo tires with installation purchase. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required. Disposal fees and shop fees extra were permitted. See store for pricing. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers.
Trust EB Stone, where 100 years of expertise means your garden thrives naturally. Try cactus and succulent soil mix and Sure Start or all-purpose fertilizers. Visit ebstone.org for a location near you. EB Stone, for the life of your garden.
Buying golf gear is easy. Buying the right golf gear, well, that's different. At Hagen Oaks, they don't just sell equipment, they fit your entire game. With TrackMan technology in the Player Performance Studio, your clubs are matched to your swing. Ping's Ballnamic Fitting helps you find the golf ball that performs best for you. Hagen Oaks Putter Fitting Studio dials in your stroke, and FootJoy's 3D foot scanner finds correct shoe size for your feet. It's a smarter way to play better golf. Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
No way. Gas prices shot up again.
I know, but I got us covered.
So generous. What's your deal?
What's my deal? I went to Metro and saved. Got 4 lines for just $25 each and 4 free new Samsung Galaxy A17 5G phones, and all on the T-Mobile network.
Ah, how about we go to Metro today?
Get that more for your money feeling. Visit your Metro by T-Mobile store. Just bring your numbers. Not available if you've been with Metro or T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Tonight, the decimation of the Los Angeles Lakers begins. And I'm here for it.
You seem very happy.
Listen, comment section, we might be fighting over De'Aaron Fox and the San Antonio Spurs, but we can all come together to root for the downfall of the Lakers, right? That's always the silver lining between us.
Yeah, they're not even a likable Lakers team. Like, there's been likable Lakers teams in the past. This one, there's not much to really root for.
I do think they're more likable with Luka not playing. But I still don't like him.
I'm not a Luka hater, okay? I'm not one of those people that finds Luka's game unfun. I like the heliocentric offense. I am appreciator of that. But at the same time, doesn't make Luka the most like charismatic, fuzzy personality either.
Yeah, definitely not. No Luka, by the way, for the foreseeable future still. He's listed as out tonight. We don't really have a timetable on his return. But I teased going to break that LeBron James is facing something he has quite literally never faced before in his NBA career. Tonight, the Lakers are 15.5-point underdogs. 15.5.
That's crazy.
Game 1 in OKC. It's the biggest underdog spread LeBron James has faced in any game in his 23-year career. Las Vegas seems to think what we all are thinking, that the Thunder about to beat the brakes off of these Lakers, and I'm here for it.
And look, I understand the Lakers are missing a couple important pieces and all that stuff, but 15.5-point favorites for a playoff game where Jalen Williams is not playing.
And LeBron James is on the other team.
How good is OKC? This is monsters. Like... This is the Kings playing against the Lakers type spread, and it's Lakers and Thunder in a second-round playoff game.
Yeah, they are monsters. They are absolute monsters. I am intrigued, as much as I'm a Laker hater, and of course proud of it here in Sacramento. I am intrigued to see like how the Lakers approach this, and if there's anything that they really can do. But
there's only one man that can save the Lakers, and that's Jake LaRavia.
Don't disrespect
Butter
Jake
situation.
We like Jake. We like Jake around here.
He's not playing for some reason. I'm sad about that.
It's because he hasn't been very good. He hasn't been very good for a lot of this season for the Lakers, if we're being completely honest with you. The Kings expected, I remember reporting that, and people got mad at me when it didn't happen. The Kings expected Jake LaRavia to be back, by the way. And then the Lakers said, here's more money. And Jake said, I'm going to go play with my buddy Austin. And, well, here we are.
That was crazy when he did the interview with Keith Smith and Austin Reeves was in the car with him.
He was like, hey.
That was crazy because he hadn't signed yet, but he was driving around with Austin Reeves.
In LA, this isn't tampering. Hey.
I mean, it's not.
It's not. It's just the way it works.
I love that we're at the stage of the NBA now where Austin Reeves is recruiting players to come play for the Lakers.
Hey, man. Austin is that dude. He's been really good this season. But you talk about the Lakers have to play like perfect basketball to have a chance. Like we're talking in game 1 and 2 of their series with the Rockets, like Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart played really, really, really well. You need that, plus LeBron playing like LeBron and Austin Reeves scoring like 25 to have a shot against these Thunder.
I'm sure we could look it up, but what was the point spread last night for the Timberwolves?
Timberwolves Spurs?
Yeah, I
think the Spurs were favorites by but it wasn't a big spread.
Okay, so it's not this.
No. No, the Spurs were favored. I want to say it was like 5.5 or 6.5 or something like that.
Okay.
The Spurs were definitely the favorites, but I didn't think it was, unless I totally missed it.
Looks like it was by tip-off 9.5.
9.5. Okay, well, I obviously disagree with that spread.
But there's a difference between 9.5 and 15.5.
15.5 is like if the Lakers kind of get blown out, they still cover. Like that. That's nuts.
I was talking to someone about this the other day. Like, Oklahoma City's about to hit the apron thing, not this year, but the year after, when SGA extension kicks in.
Right.
So, like, in 2 years, they're going to have to figure some stuff out. But, like, they've lost Jalen Williams, and Cason Wallace has stepped up. Caruso's been hurt. Aaron Wiggins has stepped up. AJ Mitchell wasn't even really a part of last year's team, and now he's a key rotation guy. Like, they just have so many of these archetype players that you can just plug in that it seems like, yes, they might lose Lou Dort and Caruso and might not be able to re-sign Cason Wallace down the line.
Next man up.
But then you've got Jared McCain and Topic and the 12 pick in this year's draft.
Yep.
And it's just crazy how many of these guys Oklahoma City has, which is why you can lose Jalen Williams and still somehow be a 15.5 point favorite, as long as you have SGA and Chet.
Well, they're probably going to have the 12th pick, but there is a chance, technically, the Clippers could jump up into the top 4. OKC gets it no matter what.
Okay, so it's unprotected.
Unprotected, yeah. So OKC.
They could get H.A. Devonsa.
7.1% chance at jumping in the top 4, 1.5% chance at number 1 overall. Let's sim it just in case it happens. Well, it didn't.
So 12?
They stay at 12. Washington wins the lottery. New Orleans jumps up 5 spots to lose their pick to Atlanta for the second pick. Utah gets the 3rd pick. Brooklyn gets the 4th. The Pacers fall to 5, so they lose their pick to the Clippers. We love that.
Yeah.
We love that. And then Sacramento's at 6.
I guess good for Sacramento, because I don't think the Clippers are going to draft a point guard. So, Acuff, 6?
In theory. I do have a podcast. If you missed last night's episode of the Matt George podcast, go and check it out. Chris Watkins and I broke down further the new NBA draft lottery system and why we believe it could hurt / could help the Sacramento Kings. By the way, the draft lottery is this freaking Sunday on Mother's Day, so make sure you get your gifts in order and get as much goodwill as you can before you sneak away at noon to watch ping pong balls. On Wednesday, so tomorrow, I'm dropping a podcast where I spoke with a buddy of mine from Memphis to talk about a potential Ja Morant, Zach LaVine swap, and it's, according to him, actually very possible. So I'll have a podcast about that dropping tomorrow. And then on Friday, I have a podcast dropping where I reached out to friends of mine that cover all the teams around the Kings in the draft lottery. The Wizards, the Jazz, the Nets, the Pacers, the Grizzlies. I reached out to all these guys to kind of get an idea of what their draft boards look like so we know who to root for. If it's the Kings are not going to get number 1, do we want this team to get? So like you just talked about, well, if the Clippers go number 5, they're not going to go point guard, right? So maybe we root for them. If there's a team to be ahead of the Kings, maybe it's that team because they wouldn't go Acuff. I don't know. I have a podcast like that coming out on Friday to check out too, which will be fun to kind of look into that. Cavs versus Pistons tonight. Do you have the spread of that game?
I do.
Cavs are favored, right?
They are not.
No.
No, the Pistons are 3.5 point favorites. Although in the NBA, they kind of say like 4 point swing home versus away. So
I don't subscribe to that. I don't think the Pistons should be the favorites at all. I think they have to earn that back. I don't think the Pistons are scaring anybody after what happened in that first series in Orlando. I think the Cavs should be looked at as the favorite. However, I do think the Pistons can play a little bit of pressure-free basketball. I think they can play with house money a little bit because they got a second life. They don't want to waste it, and they don't want to come out and get their ass kicked on their home floor again, but this time by Cleveland. But Cleveland's got the experience. They've got James Harden. They've got Donovan Mitchell. The pressure's on the Cleveland Cavaliers to win this series. So I'm interested to see how Game 1 looks tonight.
Okay, so while I do agree with you, I think Cleveland should be the favorite in the series. I don't think Detroit's really like a pushover, though. Like, I think Detroit should be favored in this game. Detroit should defend home court in every game of the series, but theoretically.
They didn't do that against Orlando.
That is correct.
And they survived by the skin of their teeth, the brink of death. It's like you walked out of a title fight that it went all, 8, 9 rounds, however much it is, and you got beat up the entire fight and would have lost by points, but you got a knockout blow at the very end to win the fight, and you're walking into your next fight still battered and bruised from the last one. Like, the Pistons can feel like they have a new lease on life, and that might give them like the energy or the focus that they need to lock in and improve upon how poor they played in that first series. But to me, Cleveland should not fear anything that the Pistons do. Cleveland is the team to beat.
I guess my takeaway is that both teams are quote-unquote fatally flawed, right?
Sure.
The reason both of these teams won't win the NBA championship is because both of these teams have fatal flaws. Like Cleveland, granted, they probably shouldn't have gone. If Dennis Schroeder handles the ball correctly, they don't go to that Game 7 against Toronto, so they probably should have won that series in 6.
I think the Pistons have the best player in the series in Cade, but I think the Cavaliers have the best team.
See, but Cleveland is also very top-heavy, and that's been their problem, is their lack of depth is the reason why they've gotten picked apart at times.
I agree, and that's going to be a problem when they're facing a team like OKC or New York, or I agree with that, but the Detroit Pistons' depth was terrible, too. And speaking of the Cavaliers' depth, I don't think Keon Ellis gets any playing time in this series either. I wonder if it's going to look different now that the matchup is different, because a lot of people were saying, it's the matchup. That's why Keon Ellis wasn't playing. The Pistons aren't small, especially their guards. So I don't know if Keon Ellis is going to get any playing time. We'll have to wait and see with that. We'll take a break. When we come back, it is time to pick a side. We're talking about a lot of different things, including skipping the Met Gala so you can go to the Knicks game. That's true fan material right there. We'll talk about that when we return. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
The Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, athletics, and Republic FC with the Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SactownSports.com to join.
Did you try my Colombian tamales? They're delicious.
Yes, but the Mexican tamales I brought are better.
Colombian tamales wrapped in plantain leaves are unmatched, you know.
But the Mexican tamales wrapped in corn husks are the authentic ones.
At least we can agree that they taste better with Pepsi.
Without a doubt. Can you pass me a straw?
You mean a pitillo?
Tamales deserve Pepsi.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sepp Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sepp Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Sacramento Rivercats baseball all summer long. The Rivercats Summer Pass gets you into every game this summer with no blackout dates and includes access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club. Lock it in and don't miss a moment. Get your Rivercats Summer Pass at rivercats.com.
Sacramento! Now you've got a place for all things dance.
The all-new Energy 100.5 HD2.
Where dance music lives. Dance vibes anytime and any place when you get the free Now 100.5 app.
Or listen at 100.5 HD2.
Pick a side, any side. It's time for Pick a Side on Matt and Kayla.
Before we pick a side, I want to let you know that at 1 o'clock, my good buddy, former employee of Sactown Sports a long time ago, he's now sports reporter extraordinaire for KCRA3. It's Sean Cunningham. He'll join us.
Sean Cunningham. Who? I don't know.
I do. I know him. And he's going to be on the show at 1 o'clock, joining us. Very much looking forward to chatting the offseason, the playoffs, the new draft lottery system, the NFL draft, his Giants, my A's with Sean. He'll join us for about half an hour or 25 minutes or so, coming up at 1 o'clock. If you're wondering where the hell is Kayla Anderson today, well, she is in demand. Listen, when you have a star like Kayla, there's people that want Kayla's voice, face, involvement in their activities. And there is a event happening in Sacramento today that she is emceeing. I'll let you or her tell you all about it on the show tomorrow. She'll be back, and we'll be back to normal. Kinda, actually. I'm dipping out early on tomorrow's show for parental responsibilities. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right now, it is time to pick a side. Kyle, what we got?
What do we got today? By the way, I was laughing about it. You saying Kayla's face is in demand was a crazy first thing to say.
You know what I mean.
The first thing you thought of when you think of Kayla's in high demand, her face.
They want her face, they want her voice, they want her presence, they want everything. You want Kayla to be a part of what you're doing in Sacramento.
No, it was a very sweet sentiment. It was just funny that the first word of that was face.
Whatever. You know what I meant.
I know what you meant. Masai Ujiri, remember him? The guy who built the Toronto Raptors champions and made the greatest trade in NBA history by swapping DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. Well, he is now the president of the Dallas Mavericks.
Good move.
Yeah, replacing a guy named Nico Harrison. You might have heard of him.
Who?
So do we think that with Cooper Flagg and Masai Ujiri, the Mavericks will get back to the playoffs by 2028?
Well, I can promise you this. I don't think Ujiri would have traded Luka Doncic for Anthony freaking Davis, so that's already an improvement, but the bar was lower than hell. I think this is a great move for the Dallas Mavericks. Ujiri was obviously very successful with the Toronto Raptors. The Dallas Mavericks organization is really, really good, really established. Of course, they're still recovering in a way from the Luka Doncic fallout, but they've got Cooper Flagg, the Rookie of the Year, so they already have their new star, their next face there. You have to build around him properly. People forget Kyrie Irving is going to be coming back from his injury, so we'll see what that duo looks like together. And Kyrie Irving, of course, is a trade chip going forward if the Dallas Mavericks want to go on that route. They have pieces. That organization, I don't think, is in a bad place by any means. So I think this is a great job for Ujiri to take. I think it's a great hire by the Dallas Mavericks. And, well, the Mavericks are going to be a frustrating team to try and deal with as the Sacramento Kings go on their path to rebuild this team into a contender. So I like the hire, Kyle.
Oh, it's a great hire, and you've got the foundational piece of Cooper Flagg that's going to make everything better, but they got a lot of work to do. I would love P.J. Washington on the Kings. If they're going to trade P.J. Washington, I would love for them to find a way to trade for him.
That would be a fun segment to do maybe later in the offseason.
Maybe we should. Next up, Matt Olson,
my
baseball
guy.
player. Your boy, Matt Olson. He is killing it this year.
Yes, he is, because he's a beast.
He is leading the National League in home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage, and wins above replacement, the fun nerd stat that baseball has.
Nerds.
So right now, should he be the MVP over the favorite by a good amount, Shohei Ohtani?
Right now, if the season ended today, yes, because the Atlanta Braves are the best team in baseball, and it's not even close. But will they remain that throughout the entire season? I don't know. The Dodgers don't look phenomenal right now, but they're still the Dodgers. They're still in first place. They're going to catch fire at some point. So I would not put my money on Matt Olson winning the MVP. I do think Matt Olson is going to slow down at some point, even though I love him, of course. A's legend, former Gold Glover with the green and gold. But, by the way, the A's traded Matt Olson for Shea Langoliers, by the way.
It was the only piece they got in that entire fire sale.
They got multiple pieces, but Shea was really the only piece that they got, to Kyle's point. Matt's playing fantastic. Love Matt Olson. I'm always rooting for him, but I don't think anybody's taking that MVP from Shohei Ohtani. We'll see how the Dodgers do.
It's hard to beat a guy who is now pitching and hitting.
What doesn't he do? He's just a beast.
Ohtani's pitching numbers haven't been as stellar as of recent, but he's still just churning home runs and drawing walks.
Are we ever going to get to a point where, we can't keep giving the award to Shohei Ohtani, so we have to give it to somebody else? We're going to get to that point at some point in baseball, right?
I hope we don't.
I feel the same way, but I feel like we're going to get there. I know that's very much a basketball thing. That's a major NBA thing.
Yeah.
We can't just keep giving it to LeBron every year, so let's give it to someone else.
Yeah, but they gave it to Embiid over Jokic one year just because they were like, Jokic, does he really deserve
That's
it?
what I'm saying. It's very much an NBA thing. Shohei is so undeniable. I want to know what somebody has to do to take it from Shohei. That's what I'm going to be interested in seeing. Who has the best chance to actually take it from him?
I mean, think about it this way. The Dumper had 60 homers last year, and he couldn't take it from Judge.
Jumpy.
So I don't know what it's going to take it from Ohtani, who is now pitching and hitting again.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he broke baseball, by the way. When everyone says the Dodgers broke baseball, no, Shohei Ohtani broke baseball because he wants to win more than you, and he's willing to take $2 million a year and then take all his money in deferred payments because he wants to win more than you. Anyways, next up, Timothée Chalamet. You teased this. It seems like you really want to talk about this.
I love this.
So last night was the Met Gala, and Kylie Jenner, famous, celebrity, internet person, makeup mogul, I guess. Anyways, she was at the Met Gala, strangely without her boyfriend, famous actor Timothée Chalamet, who you've probably seen in Dune and Ping Pong Movie and stuff like that. Because Timothée Chalamet skipped the Met Gala to go to Game 1 of 76ers and Knicks.
What a hero.
Ben Stiller, also famous New York Knicks fan, he did not skip the Met Gala to go to the Knicks game. He showed up.
Who's the real fan?
Yeah, exactly. But Timothée, he is about that life.
No, I love this from Chalamet. I love it, but here's the thing. This is where Married Brain went. I just know he got in trouble. He for sure got in trouble.
Because he told Kylie.
You're going to go to the Knicks game. You've already been to 8 of them. You're going to go to a Knicks game and you're not going to come with me to the Met freaking Gala? Fine, I'll go by myself and I'll look damn good in this dress and I'm going to take all these pictures by myself and look like the catch that I am. You go sit courtside in Madison Square Garden where I always support you. I'm always going to the games with you, but you're not going to skip one game to go to the Met Gala? Fine. Call me later.
Is he dating Natalie Portman?
I don't know. That's just my go-to voice.
That's your Natalie Portman impersonation, which is really good.
Listen, if I tell my wife I've gotten in trouble for I have to go to a Kings game, I can't go to your family party, and I work at Kings games, and I get in trouble. Timothée Chalamet for sure got in trouble for that decision, but I respect the hell out of it.
This is the weird thing about it, though, because Kylie Jenner is more famous than Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is a different level to Kylie doesn't necessarily need Timothée Chalamet to be there in that moment.
It goes beyond need. It's relationships.
Now, he did go last year when I think the Knicks were in Boston, I think was the key difference. So I think this year, the fact that they were at Madison Square Garden was where Timothée drew the line of no, I will be there for the Knicks and Sixers game 1, which is
respect. Crazy. Respect.
I wouldn't have done it because I'm not as big of a super fan, but Timothée Chalamet is about that life.
1,000%. I'm thinking back to game 1 of the Kings Warriors in the playoffs. I'm hesitating to say that I would skip it for the birth of my child. Genuinely. I would have probably been there for the birth of my child. But man, I get it. When you're a super fan, and now, of course, the Knicks tend to make it a lot further and more often than the Kings do. But, man, a lot would have had to happen for me to not be in the Golden One Center for that game. So I have I'm very fortunate to be able to go because of work. I respect the hell out of this. That's the right call for Chalamet.
I'm trying to find it again, but have you ever seen the thing about Timothée Chalamet as a kid winning a competition with like some random Knicks players? It was like Landry Fields and I can't remember who the other one. It was Landry Fields and somebody else, but they did back when Twitter was first a thing. They were like, competition, anyone who can come to this rail station and answer a quiz question for us will win 2 tickets to the Knicks game. And then they take a photo, and it's like, congratulations to 13-year-old Tim Chalamet for winning this competition. And it was like, he is about that New York Knicks life. So I think we should give him the title. Sorry, Spike Lee. Sorry, Tracy Morgan. Sorry, Ben Stiller. I think Timothée Chalamet should get the title as America's biggest Knicks fan.
Wow. That's a controversial take right there amongst Knicks fans.
It's very, very difficult to take that title from Spike Lee, but I think young Tim has earned the title after skipping the Met Gala with Kylie Jenner.
And he's in the doghouse for it. I just know it. I just know Kylie's still mad at him. But right choice. He got to see a victory. We'll take the break. When we come back, it is the lunch break. Kyle and I will work together to put together our Kings offseason individual wish list. If we could ask for like one thing different or improved, one thing that we want to see from individual Kings players, from Sabonis to Keegan Murray, Maxime Reynaud, Dylan Cardwell, Neek Clifford, Malik Monk, and more, what would that thing be beginning in training camp this upcoming fall? We'll build that for you. Plus, Sean Cunningham from KCRA3 joins us at 1 o'clock. We're halfway through and still just getting started. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
With the season off to a disastrous start, should San Francisco consider trading Logan Webb? Or is the potential franchise cornerstone too valuable to move on from? Get the latest buzz on the Giants and around the league at SactownSports.com or the Sactown Sports app. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Country in the Park is back this weekend at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert, John Party, Chris Young, Turnpike Troubadours, Dylan Scott, and more. Line dancing live DJs, Mechanical Bulls, huge festival area, and food trucks. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park this weekend, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Carl's Jr., RVs of Sacramento, and Atkins Family Vineyards. More info at CITVFest.com. A's fans, the 2026 season is here, and single game tickets are on sale now. Be there for an exciting season, packed with theme days, giveaways, and fireworks nights, including bobbleheads, jerseys, hats, and much more. And getting in is easier than ever. Tickets start at just $8 for select April and May games. From opening day to unforgettable summer nights, there's something for everyone at the ballpark. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets and be part of the excitement this 2026 season.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 17th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 17th. We'll see you there.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. to the bank, and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
When a person is seriously injured, there's no substitute for the personal legal relationship offered by the local NorCal firm of Ashton and Price. From the first attorney meeting, every important decision is made with a direct consultation with, and I can't believe I have to say this, a real, live, experienced, flesh and blood local attorney. It's called Home Court Advantage for a reason. Ashton and Price, serious local attorneys for serious people with serious injuries with no fee until we win. For the best local advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Is the volatility of the stock market driving you crazy? Is your retirement account sinking, yet you're getting older and you're starting to worry about, will I have enough for retirement? What about the money in the bank? These banks pay nothing these days. How do we get growth to get to retirement account? It's simple. Move into gold and silver. Want to know how to do it? Listen to my show, Striking Gold, with me, Kenny Michaels.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's time for the lunch break. Your calls, your thoughts, your segment. Call or text us at 916-339-1140. It's the lunch break on Matt and Kayla.
Well, since Kayla's not here, I need you more than ever on the lunch break. 916-339-1140. You can call in and be a part of the show. Feel free to text in that exact same number. We're going to get into some Sacramento Kings offseason individual wish lists. Got this comment on the Sactown Sports live stream where you can watch the show, and it made me sad. From Spencer Lampkins. I didn't go to the Kings playoff game because we went to New York. And I thought I would go to the next round or next year, and look how that worked out. Yikes.
That is really sad. I'm so sorry.
Spencer, when they get back, you have to go. There's no guarantees. I'm not going to lie to you, though. I remember leaving the Golden One Center after Game 7, and the ride had just come to an end, and at that time, I was so grateful because it was an incredible year. It was so much fun. It was a huge year for my career. And I remember walking away going, it's going to be even better next year. Whoops. Oopsies.
You are eternally optimistic, Matt, even in the face of circumstances that would dictate otherwise.
Yeah. Listen, well.
Because, I've never experienced anything as cool as that Beam Team season.
Oh, it was so much fun. I really thought they were going to build on it.
It was just the playoff drought, the fact that it kind of came out of nowhere, the fact that it was the best offense in NBA history, the fact that they were winning games at the last second, had moments that will last a lifetime.
Clutch player of the year, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I mean, it was so cool. I don't think I've ever. I know I haven't experienced anything like it. I just don't know if I will experience anything quite like it again.
It was a magical time. A magical time. And look where we're at now. On the radio, taking phone calls from JR. What up, JR?
Look where we're at now. Wait, who was the coach of that team?
Mike Brown.
Wait, who? That guy.
Yeah, the guy that won the playoff game last night by 1 billion points.
Yes, and getting to that, I'm sorry, Kylie Jenner is not more popular than Chalamet.
Well, the fact that you don't know his name suggests
that didn't help. It's hard to say his name. That doesn't help. But isn't he friends with Mike Brown, too?
Probably.
I think he has a little connection there. So Jenner, the only reason I even know that name is a Bruce. I guess older people do not identify with that. We identify with Dune and our boy, the ping pong movie recently.
But JR, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You know Timothy got in big trouble for going to that game and not going to that game. Oh, my God.
Well, you talk about Game 7. I remember not wanting to go home after the game. I was actually depressed because I said my life has been Kings winning Game 7, whether it be 3 years ago or 20 years ago, and being completely depressed after having a game you had won in both worlds, and not going home right away and then getting home and going, and not only am I sad, but I'm now in big trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, the woman that lives in my house for 31 years was not happy on either one of those nights. So, I was in doghouse. I think I had to buy her something, like a ring or something.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Just pay with gifts and then start, like, doing the dishes or something. Acts of service, man.
Well, you get to a certain age where you just, they're a young couple getting in love, but you get to a point where you're like, whatever.
Oh, yeah, but every married man or dating man on the planet knows that Timothée Chalamet got an earful for leaving his girlfriend solo at the Met Gala.
He did. He's going to have to do a new movie, make $1 billion, and pay off some kind of wonderful gift he gets her.
I can't wait for Game 2, JR, when we're going to get a courtside shot of the two of them. 100%. She's going to be there, and she's going to be the supportive girlfriend, but she's going to have the look on her face like, I hate this guy.
That scowl just staring him at the side of his head. All right, see you, brother.
JR gets it. See you, JR. He gets it. I'm telling you. Timothée Chalamet is in the doghouse today, but thankfully the New York Knicks won by a boatload of points, so it's like, okay, it's worth it. If the Knicks had lost Game 1, woo! We might not have seen Chalamet alive for Game 2. He might not have made it.
Yeah, well, the tough thing for JR is that I think I looked up in the Sacramento era history. I think the Kings are 0-5 in Game 7.
No, who cares?
So it's like every time it happens, you could throw 96 in there too with the Mitch Richmond. They lose Game 3. Every single time he's gone through it, he comes home angry and depressed at the end. There's never been one where it's like, we did it, it's all worth it. He doesn't get the Timothée, the Knicks won by 30 moment, unfortunately.
Leave us alone. Leave us alone. One of these days.
One of these days, you'll win a Game 7, JR.
Game 7, the most exciting words in sports, the most terrifying words in Sacramento. Hell, I was just excited to get to Game 7. Actually, that's not true. The Kings were up 2-0. They should never have gotten to Game 7.
Oh, Harrison Barnes. How different history would have been.
Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron's thumb or hand or whatever the hell he broke.
Index finger. Kevon Looney.
Domantas Sabonis just forgetting how to play basketball, apparently.
Kevon Looney.
That part.
And then that wonderful Game 6, though. I went back and watched Game
ass kicking.
Yeah, I went back and watched Game 6 for the first time like a couple weeks ago. I watched it again, and I was like, you know what? I understand why Mike didn't play Davion in Game 7. I mean, they were so good in Game 6. The thing he's doing right now at the Knicks, he unlocked it in Game 6 against Golden State, man.
I will tell you this. I am kind of a little bit ashamed to talk about the amount of times I have gone back and watched the full intro sequence to Game 1 and watched Game 1 in its entirety. I've watched that game probably 8 or 9 times in its entirety.
That's really good.
If I'm like having a rough time, if I'm having a rough day and like the Kings just lost by like 30, I'm going and turning on this game and remembering what it was. It's one freaking year, man. It's embarrassing.
But it's the best day, like just because of everything. It's the best day in the history of the Sacramento Kings.
That day, well,
like I get they've had deeper playoff runs and stuff.
I don't know. I think Mike Bibby's shot. Well, so years ago, I did an audio documentary about the 2002 season. It was a 3-part audio documentary. And it was when I was still here at Sactown Sports, but I was hosting the Locked On Kings podcast. I did a 3-part audio documentary, and the first part was the regular season, which the Kings were the best team in the regular season by a wide margin. Part 2 was the playoff run. Hey, Chris Verlon. The second part was the build-up to the Lakers series, and then the third part was just on the Lakers series. And I had Bobby Jackson was a part of it. Doug Christie was a part of it. Jason Ross was a part of it. I think G-Man was a part of it. It was one of the best things I've ever done. And you can go back and check it out. It's still on YouTube. And the end of the series, the semifinals, where the Kings beat, I think it was Dallas, right? Yeah, the Kings beat Dallas to advance to the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. I found audio from the TV broadcast that is part of that audio documentary that still gives me chills. And it's the final buzzer sounds and the TV broadcast is talking about, the Kings move on. And you just hear the entire crowd inside Arco Arena start chanting, beat LA. And that energy carried into Game 1. Man, how old was I? It was 2002, so I was like 8 years old when this is happening, maybe 7 years old when this is happening. I remember it vividly. So I agree that game 1 was an unbelievably special day. I woke up that morning. I was working for ABC 10 at the time. This was my first year working full-time for ABC 10. It was the year that the Kings made the playoffs. So I was like, career-wise, cloud 9. Locked On Kings is doing fantastic. It's just an amazing time for this city. I woke up at like 7 a.m., got dressed. The game wasn't until like 2 or 3 or something like that. It was one of the early games. I drove down to Doco, and I spent the entire day in Doco, just walking around, talking to people. I remember Sactown Sports was doing broadcasts all day from outside of the Golden One Center.
I was producing those.
Yeah, they had the fan experience out there where the ice rink is. It was like, I genuinely, I'm trying to, like, it's weird. I'm trying not to get emotional about it because it genuinely was such a wonderful day of celebration. And we didn't even know the Kings were going to win the freaking game at that point. But it was such a day of celebration with how everything went, how the entire almost 2 decades had gone. And for people to come down to Doco, especially the thousands of people who didn't even have tickets to the game because it was the most expensive first-round playoff ticket in NBA history. The get-in price was nuts for that game. And the amount of people outside that watched the games in Doco on the big screens and how on fire the city was, like the amount of people who hadn't been Kings fans for a long time that were drawn back in and came down to Golden One Center for the first time to experience it. And then for the Kings to win that game and for them to win because Steph Curry missed a game winner. I wish I could relive that day over and over. It's a top 3 day in my life. That day, my wedding day, and the day my kid was born. Top 3 day of my life. And I hope we get more of that to where that one pales in comparison. But that I get chills and I get emotional just thinking about how magical that day was for someone like me who spent my entire life, 1, as a diehard Kings fan, but 2, as just a Sacramentan, and how much we freaking earned that day, man. And we're getting them back. They're coming back.
I think for all of those reasons, I think you just outlined why that's probably the most important day in the history of the Sacramento Kings.
I maybe personally
maybe
it might be.
Day.
Personally, it might be. I think either the day the Kings were going back to the Western Conference Finals or the day Mike Bibby hit that jumper in Game 5. I think that, Game 5. I think that might be the best day and most iconic like day or night in Kings history because as a kid, I remember thinking we're going to be NBA champions that year. Like they were the greatest show on court, the best team on the planet. It wasn't even close. It genuinely wasn't. The Kings were a better team than the Lakers. They were. The Lakers just beat them. Shout out to the Lakers. Shout out to
See, now you're starting to sound like Carmichael Dave.
No, I'm
talking about 2002 all the time.
Listen, we reference it too much. We do reference it too much. But when you have so little to hold on to, you hold on to those moments. And that game one day will forever be a day that I hold on to. One of the most magical days of my freaking life. And I can't wait to get back there.
The magical one for me, and there were so many, that whole season was crazy because that was my first year working at Sactown. Like I'd done podcast stuff, but that was my first year working in sports. And it was the most magical, amazing season ever, was my first year. And the story I always remember is when we were doing those broadcasts, those pregame shows for Game 1, we had somebody text or on the YouTube that was talking about they were from Sacramento and they were in high school when the Kings were in the playoffs in the 2000s. And now they were in their 30s and the guy lived in Idaho and he now had 2 kids who were, about like, I think 6 and 4 or something like that. And he packed his family into the car, drove 8 hours from Idaho to Sacramento, didn't even go to the game, didn't even buy tickets to the game, but just drove 8 hours to be at the watch party in Doco for the first game.
Special, man.
Because of that connection he had back then to Sacramento and then leaving Sacramento, but then like making the pilgrimage back to Sacramento. And I was like, that story is why sports are the best. Yeah, people like that is why it's always the best.
Mustache Spiders being the normal smartass that he always is, saying, "Don't worry, Matt, you can move to San Antonio and relive it." That's something that I'm actually very proud of in my career, that I was able to build the career that I've built here in Sacramento. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't, because sports to me, I love basketball. I love sports. But the Kings started it all. The following the Kings, going to Kings games with my uncle. My uncle was a season ticket holder back in the glory days, so I was fortunate enough for him to take me to games a lot. I was there in Arco Arena for LeBron James's debut.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Which was unbelievable. And I remember my uncle turning to me and going, see this kid? This kid's going to be amazing. And we're like, okay, I just watched Doug Christie shut him down. Nope, he had that big dunk. Like, I remember that night vividly. But the one thing I'd never, ever gone to was a playoff game. My uncle never took me to a playoff game because he had those tickets and then he split it with a buddy, or he would go or do other things with other people. And those, yeah. So I never went to a playoff game. I had the opportunity career-wise to cover Warriors playoff games. Never did. I said no. I said no to all of it because I wanted my first NBA playoff experience to be a Kings playoff game. So that's why that day was so special. So Mustache Spider being a smart ass because he thinks I'm a Spurs fan because I'm rooting for the Spurs because De'Aaron Fox plays for the Spurs. I guess I'm also a Knicks fan too because I'm rooting for Mike Brown's New York Knicks. That's fine. It will never, ever, ever, ever top what the Kings and Sacramento having that success was at that time. And I can't wait for it to come back. Like, it's that over everything. And I know Dave has talked about this. Jay Ross has talked about this. Like, it being here, especially after everything this city went through, almost losing the team. Like, I will root for other teams for different reasons. I usually adopt an Eastern Conference team every year just to kind of follow and root for every year, and it changes every single year. I'll always have those teams that I'm interested in, and I'll always pick a team to root for after the Kings get eliminated or don't make the playoffs, which happens a lot.
Literally every year,
Literally
except one.
Every year, right? But rooting for a team and the passion that I and so many people in this city have for the Kings is why I don't know if I could genuinely ever work anywhere. I think I don't want to speak this into existence necessarily. I think I would leave the industry and do something else for a career before I would go and be a media member in another market. I just don't know if I could do it. I genuinely don't know if I could do it because of the passion and connection that I have to this city and this team. And, of course, I love the A's. They're in Oakland, so that's kind of different. The A's are here right now, or forever were in Oakland. I'm going to follow them to Las Vegas as a fan, but it won't ever be the same thing as the Kings in Sacramento. So
that's your childhood.
That was a special time, man. And now we got to get back there. So, Kyle, let's work together to come up with a Kings offseason individual wish list. This is something that we would like to see each player bring to the table, showcase, or do this offseason to help the next step. Because all signs point to next season, the Sacramento Kings need to win as many basketball games as possible because the new lottery system is going to exist the way it does. There's now no incentive to tank. If the lottery system weren't changing, then we would go, okay, just lose games next year. Who cares? That's not where the NBA is going, obviously. So the Kings are in the business of, they've always been in the business, stubbornly were in the business this year of winning basketball games. They're going to do the same thing next year. So how do they, with the talent that is here, that we believe is still going to be here, like Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, I don't have those guys on this list. One, because I don't know if any of them are still going to be here. And two, those guys are established veterans that I don't expect them to change anything. You could kind of make that argument for Domantas Sabonis, but the reason why I'm including Domas in this list is because I think Domas can make tweaks or changes or additions to his game that will complement where this team is at right now. So let's work together to come up with some individual offseason wish list, like one thing for each player to bring to the table, to showcase, to work on this summer and showcase come training camp. And of course, some of these guys are going to be rookies that will also play in Summer League. But like a perfect example of this, for Keegan Murray, my wish list for Keegan Murray is very simple. Keegan, get in the gym and take 1,000 shots a day. Just shoot threes. I understand there was a desire or a call for Keegan to show more of his offensive game this year. I understand there was the opportunity, DeMar DeRozan saying, oh, this is Keegan Murray's team. Hey, man, as soon as that new rookie comes in, you're still part of the core, as long as you're still here. But it's not going to be your team anymore. It's going to be whichever rookie walks across that stage. It's going to be their team, or at least the future is going to be their team. If you were to tell me that Keegan Murray will be the exact same defender, the exact same rebounder, but could get back to shooting 37, 38% from three on a high volume, I would take that 10 times out of 10. So my wish list for Keegan is simple. Work on that three-point shot, get it back up to above average, and showcase that in training camp and into next season. That's the number one thing the Kings need from Keegan Murray, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I think what the Kings owe to Keegan Murray is not to have him be such a, we have to have you play defense, we have to have you guard the best player. I think Chris Watkins pointed out, like in the games that he played, he had the highest distance traveled across the court of anyone in the league. So fortunately, the Kings, just by roster construction, will be able to help him with that next year. So I agree with you. Concentrate on the offensive game. Three-point shooting, I think, is where it starts, but it would be nice to have him be able to dribble, drive, and be able to do some of those things we started to see at the end of 2024, and that he never really got back to in 25 or 26.
His mid-range jumper actually became the most reliable part of his offense this season. That mid-range jumper off the dribble, he was actually really good with. So he's added that to his game. But Keegan's impact offensively, first and foremost, is going to be spacing the floor and knocking down that three. Because it's got to the point where teams don't respect it as much as they should anymore.
Especially because the Kings intend to bring in a point guard, too.
Right. Well, yes. To some extent, whether it's in the draft or bringing back like a Russell Westbrook, they have to address their point guard position. And Keegan Murray shooting 37% opens up the spacing a lot better. And like we talked about, the Kings' three-point shooting this season was woefully bad. Woefully bad. Everybody can improve their three-point shooting. Keegan's going to be the catalyst of that.
Yeah, to say, if we do this activity for the roster far enough, we'll get to like 4 players where it's like, just sit in the gym and shoot.
What about Domantas Sabonis? Sabonis is interesting to me because I expect Sabonis to still be part of the team, although I do expect Sabonis trade talks to pick up again this offseason, whether it's the revisiting the Toronto Raptors conversation or whatever. I think the Kings are definitely going to explore trading Domantas Sabonis away. But the Kings were very clear at the trade deadline that unlike maybe some other veterans on this roster, the Kings are not going to trade Sabonis if they're not getting appropriate value or what they deem to be actual appropriate value back, because Sabonis, whether you like him or not, is absolutely a top 5 center in the NBA today. He is. So, assuming Domantas Sabonis comes back, and this is a segment we'll probably do later on in the offseason when Kayla is here, and we'll just focus on Sabonis and what it looks like for him in Sacramento. But in terms of like one thing that I would ask from Domantas Sabonis, like the one individual wish list item for Domantas Sabonis this summer, it's once that point guard or once the rookie is drafted, I would love to see Domantas Sabonis invite that rookie to Napa. I would love to see the two of them get in the gym together the same way Domantas Sabonis flew to LA to work with DeMar DeRozan when DeMar was first acquired by the Kings. I want to see a two-man game established between those two to where whether they're playing through Domas with DHOs, pick and roll, however it may be, I would like to see Sabonis really make an emphasis on not becoming the veteran for that rookie necessarily. He doesn't have to be that rookie's vet, but establishing a two-man game with that rookie who we believe is primarily going to have the ball in their hands. That's the number one thing that I need from Sabonis next year.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout because when Levine got traded, I remember Sam Amick wrote about like it just looks clunky, right? So the chemistry between Sabonis and Levine trying to play off each other, their games just didn't complement, and it was going to take time and
it
really
should have though.
No, I mean, but we never got the chance to see any of that this year for the most part.
And we never have seen, to your point, like we never saw it. We know Domas and DeMar worked together on a two-man game and then never saw it ever. They never played off of each other, ever.
No.
And I don't get why.
Yeah, they just went away from that style of offense. I think, again, part of it was the changing Levine and figuring out the point guard thing. I think there were just too many, again, flaws in the roster to be able to execute it well enough, and then everyone got hurt and it didn't really matter. But I think that's a good shout. If they, whether it's Acuff or Darren Peterson or Kingston Flemings or whoever they end up with in the draft, it would be a good point to develop that rapport with Sabonis. Because honestly, I'm tired of Sabonis trying to learn to shoot the three.
Yeah, it's not happening.
I don't really know what else he can add to his offensive game. He's already won freaking MVP votes in the past for his offense. There's not really much I think he can quote-unquote add to his game.
And at this point, you're not changing him. No matter how much you're paying him, he's never going to look to score first. He's not. It's just not who he is. He's never going to look to score first. He's going to look to pass first and play make first. Okay, play through that. That doesn't mean he can't get you 18 points a game, but that's not going to be his first instinct. So if you don't have to play, Doug Christie does not have to play through Domantas Sabonis next year. But I want to see whichever rookie the Kings go out and get, I want to see that rookie playing with Sabonis consistently. That's what I want to see. That's what Sabonis' responsibility is to that young player, in my opinion, next season. We'll talk about the rookies when we come back, plus Malik Monk and DeAndre Hunter. The reality is, with all three rookies that are now going into their sophomore years, you want to see them improve on multiple levels. But what's one main thing for each of them? Kyle and I we'll talk about that when we return. Before Kyle's 2-minute drill. Yes, he's taking it over for Kayla. We're going to talk football coming up at the end of the hour, and then Sean Cunningham from KCRA3 joins us at 1 o'clock. You're listening to Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
With the season off to a disastrous start, should San Francisco consider trading Logan Webb? Or is the potential franchise cornerstone too valuable to move on from? Get the latest buzz on the Giants and around the league at SactownSports.com or the Sactown Sports app. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
Is the crew on their way so we can fire up the grill?
Cabrito, arrachera. They're gonna love it.
Better go with birria and carne en su jugo. Classic Jalisco dishes with tradition.
That seasoning is great, but Northern Mexican-style meat speaks for itself. Let's make both.
Deal. And to boost the flavor, ice-cold Pepsi. Its sweetness pairs perfectly.
And to go with it, flour tortillas.
And corn ones too. Hey, carne asada deserves Pepsi.
Buying golf gear is easy. Buying the right golf gear, well, that's different. At Hagen Oaks, they don't just sell equipment, they fit your entire game. With TrackMan technology in the Player Performance Studio, your clubs are matched to your swing. Ping's Ballnamic Fitting helps you find the golf ball that performs best for you. Hagen Oaks Putter Fitting Studio dials in your stroke, and FootJoy's 3D foot scanner finds correct shoe size for your feet. It's a smarter way to play better golf. Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
Now through May 24th at Big O Tires, get $80 to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Nexen, Nitto, or Sumitomo tires with installation purchase. Book your appointment online today. Disposal fees extra, not covered with other offers. See your locally owned Big O Tires dealer for pricing.
Trust EB Stone, where 100 years of expertise means your garden thrives naturally. Try cactus and succulent soil mix and Sure Start or all-purpose fertilizers. Visit ebstone.org for a location near you. EB Stone, for the life of your garden.
If you're serious about getting better at golf, start with the fit. At Hagen Oaks, everything begins with Total Game Fitting. The TrackMan Player Performance Studio analyzes your swing to match you with the right clubs. Ping's Ballnamic Fitting helps you find the golf ball for your game. The Hagen Oaks Putter Fitting Studio helps you roll it true. And with FootJoy's 3D foot scanner, you'll walk the course in shoes that actually fit. From driver to putter and even what's on your feet, Hagen Oaks fits every part of your game. Total Game Fitting, only at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 11.
That's kind of happening for me today because I'm back in the flow of like, okay, I'm here with the show and I'm posting the podcast and I'm answering the phones and I'm doing this. And I'm like, oh, how did I used to do this all the time with Alan?
Spinning plates. Well, Alan is a phenomenal H-air as well. Alan did a great job filling all that time and coming up with all that content with you and him holding it down this time slot. Made it very difficult to step into those shoes and take over, but Kayla and I do the best that we can. We've been having fun talking about our Kings offseason individual wish lists. We talked about Keegan Murray. It was simple. Get that three-point shot right. Fix that three-point shot. That's the number one thing the Kings need the most from Keegan Murray to start next season. For Domantas Sabonis, it was establish an on-court connection and chemistry with whatever rookie the Kings draft. Doesn't matter if it's a point guard, although it makes even more sense if they're a point guard. But if it's A.J. Debonsa, if it's Darren Peterson, if it's Cam Boozer, I don't know. Get in the lab and work together with that rookie. That's going to be a responsibility, whether Domantas Sabonis wants it or not. He might be the quote-unquote best player on the Sacramento Kings going into next season. But we know what the future is. We know what the Kings are looking towards. And as long as Domantas Sabonis is here, his primary responsibility is going to be helping usher in that new era, as long as he's okay to that, right? Not hostages, volunteers. Well, the Kings are hoping he would be a volunteer to helping usher in that next generation, much like Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan were at the end of this past season.
And maybe he gets back to playing all-NBA basketball like he said he would in post his end-of-season presser.
I wouldn't put my money on it, but Domantas Sabonis is an incredibly talented center. And I remember going to war for Domantas Sabonis against Warrior fans in particular, and just the haters around the NBA. I don't know if he'll ever get back to what he was those couple of years in Sacramento, but I think we all, myself included, have forgotten how good and how impactful he can be with how little he played during this very frustrating season. What about the rookies? Maxime Reynaud, Dylan Cardwell, and Nate Clifford. Like we talked about going to break, Kyle, ideally, these guys are improving all facets of their game, right? Not just one thing. And you hope that for every player. But if there's one thing in particular for all of these guys, each one of them, that I would like to see that would be at the top of my wish list, for Maxime Reynaud, initially I wanted to put just getting stronger, gaining weight. He's going to be hitting the weight room. He's going to have a nutritionist, I'm sure, working with him if they haven't already done this and carried that into it. What I want to see is Max put on weight and still be able to play with that finesse. But for Max, to me, it's simple. The number one thing is get comfortable being a rim protector. Get comfortable being more of a shot blocking presence. That doesn't mean I expect Maxime Reynaud to come out next season and start averaging 2 blocks a game. Like that's Dylan Cardwell's game. Dylan Cardwell is a natural, gifted rim protector. He's an athlete. He's got a nose for the basketball in that sense. That is a skill that is tough to teach. But with Max, can you change shots? We saw Max use his wingspan, use his length as a true 7-footer. He got more steals than he gets credit for, because he was really good at playing the passing lane. He got a lot of deflections. He took away angles for guards when they would attack the paint. We saw him be effective in that sense. Change shots at the rim. That is the number one thing that I'm asking of Maxime Reynaud, because we know the defensive emphasis for the Sacramento Kings that Doug Christie has. We know Max's ability offensively as a pick-and-roll threat, the finesse, the floater. We'd love to see him, of course, work on that three-point shot too and become more confident at the same level he was in it at Stanford. All that stuff is important. But if I could ask one thing, primary thing that Max could add or work on this summer, it's just improving as a shot blocker and a rim protector.
Yeah, I was going to say it's either three-point shot or shot blocker. And the reason is, and this is the simplified version. I know there are nuances to it, but the thing I've always said is you got to figure out whether you're going to be a big man or a tall man for Max. Are you going to be Hartenstein or are you going to be Chet? Are you going to be Bam Adebayo or are you going to be Khalil Ware? You know, it's like you're kind of figuring those things out for your career. Are you big man who's going to be posting up down low and grabbing rebounds like Jalen Duren and Jakob Poeltl and guys like that? Or are you going to be one of these hybrid 4-5s that can space the floor, guard on the perimeter, shoot threes, but also get big when you need to. That's kind of the question Max has to kind of ask himself. It seems like he's leaning more in the big direction, which is why the shot blocking is going to be so important for him to figure out. Because if you're going to not be able to shoot the three at a high level, you got to be a great defensive presence.
I don't expect Max to ever become a physical player. I don't. That's just not his game. He's a finesse player. But what we saw at the end of last season was really encouraging because we saw Max not shy away from contact. I don't think it's Max's game to ever put a shoulder into somebody, to ever fight in the post. I don't think it's going to be Max's game to body a defender and try and shove him off the block. It's just not who. I don't ever expect that to be who Max is. That's just not who he's ever been as a basketball player. But becoming comfortable with physicality and living in physicality are two very different things. And becoming comfortable with physicality means you know you're going to get hit. You know guys are going to try and run through you. Stand your ground, take the bump, use the wingspan, block shots. It's what Brook Lopez has done his entire career. Like, Brook Lopez is always the comp that I will bring up when talking about Maxime Reynaud. That is the archetype. You're a shot blocker. I don't think Max will ever become the shot blocker that Brook Lopez became, by the way. Brook Lopez has been a phenomenal rim protector. But change shots at the rim, space the floor offensively. I don't think Max will ever become the high-volume three-point shooter that Brook Lopez was. More of a pick-and-roll threat more than a pick-and-pop threat. Brook Lopez is very much a pick-and-pop threat. But on the defensive end, Brook Lopez is not known for pushing anybody around. But he's a presence, and you're always keeping an eye on where he is. Guards are always looking out for, where is Brook? Can I put this up off the glass? And you're going to have a hard time pushing him off the block, even if he's not the most physical specimen on the planet. That's what I would love for Max to become.
Yeah, and I think you could have a hugely successful career in that role. And you know, it's weird because his biggest numbers were put up on teams that weren't really like competing at the end of the season. They were winning games, but it was a makeshift roster and guys that don't reflect what a playoff caliber basketball team will start to look like. I'm not saying that the numbers are empty. It's just his role is going to redefine itself once you put different pieces around him. So if you can develop that skill set, the shot blocking is translatable to basically any roster because every team needs shot blocking. Arguably, the biggest flaw of the Beam team was that they didn't have shot blocking, and that was very important when playing next to Sabonis.
When it comes to Dylan Cardwell, initially I thought corner three. Like, if you could add a corner three to Dylan Cardwell, he'd be fantastic because in theory, you're going to run a lot of two big lineups with Dylan, Max, and Domas all expected to be in the rotation. And the corner three would just add a little bit of spacing offensively. I think he's a long way away from adding a corner three, and one summer's not going to fix that.
Why? Because he took one last year and it was a complete air ball?
It's just never been his game. Now, he hit that, remember, I think it was in the Warrior game. I think it was game 81. He hit a buzzer beater three at the end of the first quarter. That was such a fun moment. That game was fun in general. We saw a lot, like the number one thing that I saw Dylan Cardwell work on this season when I would go and sit courtside during warm-ups, or not warm-ups, the individual player drills that they do before each game. They would have Dylan working on that short hook, 5 feet or less, restricted area to slightly outside the restricted area. Just get that touch around the rim. That's a shot that looks so easy, but that's not an easy shot. They've been working on that with him a lot, and I definitely think they're going to continue to work on that. For me, what makes Dylan Cardwell special is he knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly who he is as a basketball player, and he leans into that. He takes pride in that, and that's what makes him effective. And again, I'm thinking, okay, how does this guy become what Mitchell Robinson has become with the New York Knicks? I just want to see Dylan Cardwell become a legitimate pick and roll threat. I want to see him set hard, solid screens. I want to see him move really well, slip out of the picks quickly, get downhill, and use that athleticism to his advantage. Because as we saw with Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook last season, Kings guards aren't afraid to throw it up there and tell Dylan to go and get it. So I want Dylan to continue to master his game and really become a viable pick and roll threat that can explode out of the pick, get downhill, and at the very least, draw the defense in to take some of the pressure off the ball handler and open up the perimeter a little bit more. And if they don't cut him off because, it's Dylan Cardwell, we're not worried about him offensively, it's an easy lob and easy finish at the rim. That's what I want to see Dylan work on.
My one would be on the defensive end of the floor. Gotta learn to defend without fouling.
That's a good one, too.
You gotta learn how to defend without fouling. I've seen that dude play like 18 minutes and pick up 6 fouls.
I hear you. I agree. He definitely has to learn to do that, and that's something I'm sure he and Doug Christie are going to work on this offseason and in training camp next year, more specifically. I do like the fact that with Dylan, you have to rein it in more than you have to get it out of him. So I think naturally as the game slows down and as he gets older and more experienced, I think that will improve, but you're 100% right. If Dylan's going to be impactful, he needs to stay on the floor.
Oh, I sure hope so. Which also, if he's only going to be a Mitchell Robinson 12-minute-a-night guy on a competing team, that's fine. The foul trouble isn't a problem. The problem is the free throws.
Yes.
And we know free throw is the most valuable shot in the game.
We'll take the break. When we come back, Kayla's 2-minute drill is becoming Kyle's 2-minute drill. Kyle will take us through all of the top stories in the NFL today. And then Sean Cunningham from KCRA3 joins us at 1 o'clock to start the final hour of the show. It's Matt and Kayla, minus the Kayla on Sactown Sports.
The California Classic is coming home. The Kings will host the Brooklyn Nets, Milwaukee Bucks, and Golden State Warriors at the G1Z for a preseason showcase. To bring some extra fireworks to 4th of July weekend, head to SactownSports.com for all the details.
Your exclusive home for Kings basketball.
Sactown Sports 1140.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. You know, assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. 4, 6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Get $1,000 in free survival gear for a limited time. You heard that right. Right now, when you order the powerful Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from MyPatriotSupply.com, we'll send you over $1,000 in life-saving preparedness supplies, including a 4-week survival food kit, water filtration system, an off-grid cook stove, and much more, absolutely free. This offer won't last long, so get your generator and free survival gear now at MyPatriotSupply.com. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Sacramento Rivercats baseball all summer long. The Rivercats Summer Pass gets you into every game this summer with no blackout dates and includes access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club. Lock it in and don't miss a moment. Get your Rivercats Summer Pass at rivercats.com.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave.
What's up? It's Matt George.
What's good? It's Alan Stiles.
With the most trusted voices in the community.
This is Jason Ross.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson.
It's Whitey Gleason.
Ready to help promote your business, both as partners and customers. All you have to do is ask. Pick up the phone, dial pound 250 and say, grow my business to get connected with a team member today. That's pound 250 and say, grow my business. Our team will review your product, quickly pair you with a perfect endorser, and create video and audio samples all at no cost or obligation to you. With the most live and local on-air lineup, a dynamic content-driven website, and a state-of-the-art mobile app, Sactown Sports 1140 is tailor-made to help you connect with a sports audience in Sacramento. So why wait? Dial pound 250 today. Say, grow my business, and let us help take you to the next level. It's time for the 2-minute drill. Kayla Anderson has the ball, and she's taking us around the world of football. It's Kayla's 2-minute drill on Matt and Kayla.
Not so fast, voice guy. Kayla doesn't have the ball today because she's out. But we got our second stringer. We're giving the ball to Kyle Ledbetter to take us through the top stories in the National Football League. If we have time, I'll add one more quick one at the very end that I don't think Kyle has on here. But Kyle, what's going on in the NFL today?
Ooh, a little tease. Matt's got a story for us, too.
A tiny one. Richie really found it. Richie, our program director, found it. I'm just going to take credit for it.
Ah, okay. So Matt steals content now.
That's what I do. I'm a content thief.
Well, we did steal Alan and Whitey's segment that one time.
Oh, come on now.
We were talking about the story in Hoops Hype or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. No, I listen to Whitey and Alan religiously. I listen to the morning show religiously. They have a good idea, and I bite off of it. Give me that.
Yeah, just stealing content. So first, I tried to do Kayla's little tags.
The lower
thing.
thirds,
yes,
yeah.
I tried to come up with them myself, but I've never worked in news, so they're not as good as Kayla's.
Lower thirds is one of the hardest things to do in news. To find like creative lower thirds that are short enough and catchy enough to fit in trust me, it's not as easy as it looks.
I trust you. It was not easy. All this effort I put in. So, anyways, return of the draft.
Return of the draft.
Yes. So. Have you been following what's happening with Texas Tech quarterback Brennan Sorsby?
I'm not familiar.
So Brennan Sorsby was the biggest NIL transfer portal quarterback in this last year's class. I think was going to get $5.5 million to transfer from Cincinnati to Texas Tech.
Woo.
Well, last week, Brennan Sorsby was declared ineligible by the NCAA because they discovered he had made thousands of online bets.
Oh, I saw this.
Including when he was a redshirt at Indiana, placing a bet on Indiana to win, which is a big no-no. He went into a gambling rehabilitation clinic and has hired a lawyer to try and win back his NCAA eligibility.
Yeesh.
Now, they might win their case, but people are pointing out that if they can't win, Sorsby's best path forward would be to enter the supplemental draft that the NFL does every year.
Okay.
So the way the supplemental draft works is that players who declare after the original draft can go into the supplemental draft, and if a team picks them with a supplemental draft pick, they take away that draft pick next year and it gets used now. So, for example, if someone, I think the last time this happened was 2019, where a player lost their NCAA eligibility at Washington State, went to the supplemental draft. The Cardinals picked him with the 5th round in the supplemental draft, and the Cardinals lost their 5th round pick next year but got the player. Essentially is how it works.
So in theory, they'd go through every single round and every single pick, and then a team would just go pass?
Yeah. Well, essentially, they go like round 1. Does anyone want to play? Yes, exactly. Every player, they would go and they'd say, round 1, no. Round 2, no. The whole process usually takes like 10 minutes because it's mostly guys who don't have NFL futures, but they've either been kicked out of school or deemed academically ineligible or have giant gambling scandals.
Yeesh.
Like Josh Gordon is like the most famous recent example of a player who went through the supplemental draft, and he was awesome with the Browns until, everything that happened with him. So no one's been picked in the supplemental draft for 7 years, but people are saying that if Sorsby were to go in the supplemental draft, he was going to be a first-round pick next year, first or second-round prospect. So potentially a team could use a first or second-round pick in the supplemental draft to take Sorsby, which is a big if because, as we mentioned, he's also in a gambling rehabilitation program.
Yeah,
right
that
now.
might scare off a few teams. That part's definitely not the best.
It's a really crazy situation, but we might get to see the highest the last time a team used either a first or second round pick on a supplemental draft player was 2003.
That'd be pretty crazy, though, to basically punt on next year's draft pick to go out and get a guy right now in the middle of a gambling scandal. I don't think I would do it. I'd be too spooked.
But would you do it for a third round pick?
Nope. I think I'd be spooked.
You would just not doing it at all?
I don't think I want nothing to do with that.
I think he was the number 3 prospect in next year's class. I think like Dante Moore was number 1. There's another guy ahead of him. But
Arch
basically,
Manning?
it wasn't Arch Manning. It was somebody else.
Huh.
But anyways, yes, the Brennan Sorsby saga is something about. By the way, he has until June 30th to decide if he's entering the supplemental draft.
Huh.
So that gives him 2 months to fight the NCAA in court for his eligibility.
All right. Well, good luck to him.
Good luck. Next up, a new kind of fowl. The Seattle Seahawks, who are a bird, are signing Dante Fowler Jr. to a 1-year contract. Dante Fowler was, I think, the number 3 pick in the draft like a decade ago. He's bounced around to a bunch of teams. He had a great year on the Rams. I think it was the year after they went to the Super Bowl, maybe. But he's been on a few teams. He was on the Cowboys last year. He spent a lot of years with the Falcons. But Dante Fowler is your new backup edge rusher for the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks that Kayla's not here to discuss whether she likes it or not.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get her opinion on this tomorrow. He's 31 years old, and I mean, I'm reading about, like, that was the last major need that the Seahawks needed to address this offseason because they lost, is the pronunciation of the name, Boy Mafe, in free agency. So it's the Super Bowl champs. They added depth. Good for them. That defense is really, really good. So that's not a bad team to jump on the wagon with.
Yeah, another classic case of players do a lot better once they leave the Jaguars.
Yeah, well.
All right, last one I have here. You remember SpongeBob with the doodle bob, and he would always say, "Mi hoi mi noi."
Yep.
So how about Van Noy Mignoy is
like
what we're talking about
like
here.
it's a deep cut, but I'm there with you.
Yes, Van Noy Mignoy. Kyle Van Noy went on with Kay Adams on the NFL FanDuel show. I just call it that FanDuel show, but it's the NFL FanDuel show. And he said that he would like to join the San Francisco 49ers and his, I believe, college teammate, Fred Warner. He calls him his little brother. They both went to BYU, so I think that's the connection.
Well, he checks the right box. He's 35 years old.
35 years old.
He's perfect.
Can't remember who he was on last year, but Kyle Van Noy has been most famously on the Ravens when the Ravens were losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs.
He was with Baltimore last year, outside linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. Played in 15 games, started 13 of them.
Yes.
Didn't really do much.
So he was on those Ravens teams when they were losing. He was
an interception. Sorry.
All right.
Good for him.
He was a backup on those Patriots teams that won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady a bunch of years ago. So Kyle Van Noy's been around the block for a while, but he is apparently trying to stay in the NFL and trying to hop on with the San Francisco 49ers.
35 years old, that ripe age for the Niners, man. That's that prime age to play in San Francisco. So, and they got money, so I imagine that in addition to Fred Warner is enticing for him, but he definitely screams Niner. Really quick, did you see before we wrap up, Richie pointed this out to me this morning, that apparently Hard Rock Stadium, I didn't realize Hard Rock Stadium was as old as it is. Miami is now ineligible because of the age of the stadium, how old the stadium is, plus like some of their what the heck is the word I'm looking for?
Amenities?
Amenities, no, something else. Whatever. They are ineligible to host the Super Bowl now. Hospitalities. Like some of their hospitality rooms and things of that nature, because they made some changes and some quirks to have other events at Hard Rock Stadium, including like tennis and things of that nature.
Formula One.
Yeah. So the NFL is saying they are ineligible now until they make improvements and changes to Hard Rock Stadium to host the Super Bowl. The stadium's too old.
That seems impossible. They have like the best facilities in the NFL. How is that possible?
Yep. And that I was stunned. I didn't even realize Hard Rock Stadium was that old.
I mean, I knew it was old, but they keep renovating it. They keep refurbishing it. It's like it's known as like one of the best stadiums in football. That seems crazy that the NFL saying, no, you're not good enough to host a Super Bowl.
Yeah, as of now, the Miami is ineligible to host the Super Bowl because of the age of the stadium and some of their amenities not being what they need to be.
So they're just going to alternate like Vegas, Los Angeles, Atlanta, New Orleans.
Pretty much.
They're just going to alternate those. San Francisco every 10 years. They're just going to alternate the same 5 or 6 cities.
I don't know if it's ever going to come back to San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah. From what I heard, not that Levi Stadium didn't do a phenomenal job, but from what I heard talking to friends of mine who were part of it versus and just other people from around the country who were part of it, the logistics of San Francisco and Santa Clara not being even remotely close to each other was not fun for a lot of people for the second year in a row, apparently.
Okay, so it's just going to be Vegas, L.A., Atlanta, New Orleans, just on rotation for the next 4 years.
Until the next giant. Well, I don't know. They wouldn't do the new Kansas City Chiefs stadium. Would they do the new Chicago Bears stadium? I don't know. They're definitely not going to do Buffalo.
No, because Buffalo's not in the dome.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably just going to be those 4 stadiums.
I mean, they did Minnesota one time. Maybe they'd go back to Minnesota.
Yeah, maybe. It's chilly there, though. Chilly.
But they got like the Mall of America. You can just like post up in there.
That's true. Maybe Minnesota's a shout. But no more Miami, which is crazy to me because that seems like an ideal, perfect market to have Super Bowl, and it's freaking Miami, for God's sake. Someone who was in Miami for the Super Bowl was Sean Cunningham. Sean joins us next from KCRA 3. We'll talk a whole bunch of sports stuff with him. He's all over the place. He's also a Giants fan. We'll talk about his Giants, too, and what's been going down with them, calling up Bryce Eldridge, and more. Sean Cunningham joins us next to start the final hour of the show. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Spring is in the air, and Alev's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Did you try my Colombian tamales? They're delicious.
Yes, but the Mexican tamales I brought are better.
Colombian tamales wrapped in plantain leaves are unmatched, you know.
But the Mexican tamales wrapped in corn husks are the authentic ones.
At least we can agree that they taste better with Pepsi.
Without a doubt. Can you pass me a straw?
You mean a pitillo?
Tamales deserve Pepsi.
A's fans, The 2026 season is here, and single game tickets are on sale now. Be there for an exciting season packed with theme days, giveaways, and fireworks nights, including bobbleheads, jerseys, hats, and much more. And getting in is easier than ever. Tickets start at just $8 for select April and May games. From opening day to unforgettable summer nights, there's something for everyone at the ballpark. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets and be part of the excitement this 2026 season.
No way. Gas prices shot up again.
I know, but I got us covered.
So generous. What's your deal?
What's my deal? I went to Metro and saved. Got 4 lines for just $25 each and 4 free new Samsung Galaxy A17 5G phones, and all on the T-Mobile network.
Ah, how about we go to Metro today?
Get that more for your money feeling. Visit your Metro by T-Mobile store. Just bring your numbers. Not available if you've been with Metro or T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder, thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration. The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Running a business takes grit, vision, and a partner who believes in your success as much as you do. At Valley Strong Credit Union, business banking is built around you. The entrepreneurs, the growers, the dreamers powering our community. Whether you need flexible checking, faster payments, or financing to take your next big step, Valley Strong brings local expertise and real relationships to every stage of your business. Because when local businesses thrive, the whole valley grows stronger. Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your business, grow your future. ValleyStrong.com/business.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Final hour of the show. Kayla Anderson will be back with us tomorrow. She's working an event in Sacramento as an MC today, so you're stuck with me today. And, of course, Kyle Ledbetter with us. The Las Vegas Raiders just put out a tweet announcing their home and road opponents this season. No specific dates or anything like that with the schedule being released, but amongst their home opponents, they'll have the Buffalo Bills in Las Vegas, the LA Rams in Las Vegas, the Seattle Seahawks in Las Vegas, the Tennessee Titans in Las Vegas. But the one that caught my eye, the Raiders will be playing a road game against the 49ers at Levi Stadium this season. That's going to be a fun one with the Raiders coming back to the Bay, and I can imagine that Sean Cunningham, I know he doesn't plan that far in advance, but Sean damn near lives at Levi Stadium during the weekends, during the fall. Sean Cunningham from KCRA3 joining us right now. Sean, are you going to be you're going to be out there for Raiders Niners at Levi Stadium more than likely?
Hello, Matthew. I think probably. I can't. We'll see how the schedule shakes out. We try to cover as many Niner home games as possible, but I got to imagine that's going to be circled with a big fat red magic marker because those games are intense, a lot of fun. There's sometimes a lot of action in the stands, and sometimes it's better than what's on the field. Yeah, man, like anytime those two teams get together, it's an event. It's an event. I've even seen it in preseason, and I hate preseason football with my entire being. And those games have ended up being interesting because of really a lot of the storylines that surround the game and the stuff in the stands and stuff with the fans and all that. So I can get into that. I'm glad it's a regular season. It's that time of year. This 26 is that time of year where the schedules kind of work that way out. So I think we have to wait another year or two before it'll be back at Allegiant Stadium, but however that rotation works. But yeah, this is the one, and it'll be a lot of fun at Levi's.
Sean Cunningham from KCRA3 joining me here on Matt and Kayla. Sean, I'd like to say that, hey, your offseason is quieted down and slowed down now that Kings basketball is over, but I know that's not the case with you. You're all over the place, including your coverage of the NFL draft. We had, of course, some local guys drafted this year as well. What did you make of draft night or the draft nights, draft weekend, whether it's from the 49ers perspective or just around the league in general?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first round was pretty interesting. A lot of trades, a lot of movement, especially if you're a 49er fan. You were, I don't know, you might have been a little disappointed not having a first-round pick and being able to get that first pick of the second round. Largely, I think some of the moves were pretty interesting. I know it gets a lot of attention for the 49ers having reaches and maybe not drafting all that well, and I know they've kind of come under fire. But, the only thing I push back on is this idea of consensus of mock drafts, which really don't mean a lot. I mean, it's literally people putting their own kind of thing together and adding their own expertise, but those people are not in the war rooms of these teams. So to grade a draft before you see a guy in uniform has just always been crazy to me. But that's the type of age we live in. So I can be a little critical. There was some people that they took that I wouldn't have, but I don't pretend to be some NFL draft expert either. So, I think that Kyle Shanahan is a head coach and an evaluator of talent. Certainly as a head coach is coming off maybe his finest season ever in terms of what he meant for that season. I know they fell short of expectations, but with the injuries that they had and some of the games they were able to pull out and be able to really be a force, I thought it was one of his finest hours. Now, the draft, it remains to be seen whether they hit on anything in the draft last year. It'll really remain to be seen if they hit on anything this year. But largely it's been pretty lackluster over the past few years, but they're just a really old team. So from that standpoint, that captured my curiosity. Locally, I'm glad you touched on that because there's always people with not only local ties, but people who hail from our region who are draft hopefuls. And the guy that, was the guy that was going to go the highest from our area was Jonah Coleman. Guy that played at Lincoln High School in Stockton, and really is just an incredible run blocking back in that type of scheme. And coming out of Washington Huskies, he was Arizona before that, and he goes in the fourth round to Denver. And then Denver also took on an undrafted rookie in Rodney Hammond who played at Sac State. Yep. But if you guys are looking at other locals, Elijah Tolliver, he hooked on with a team. He was at Sac State. You've got two guys who know each other real well, and a wide receiver who went to Cal, Jacob DeJesus, who was at UNLV before that. Kind of very undersized, might be a special teams kind of guy who's really overcome a lot of adversity because everyone looks at him and goes, "Oh, you're a 5'6", 5'7" wide receiver. You don't have room on a team." But he gets a free agent invite to the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's from Manteca. As does Zelmar Vetter, another guy who played at Sac State before going to Louisville, 6'3" defensive back, played at East Union High School in Manteca. So two guys that really grew up kind of, not only competing with and against each other. He ended up on the Chiefs as well with Jacob as an undrafted free agent, and I think that's really fun. But in the case of Jonah Coleman, Zelmar Vetter, and even Jacob DeJesus, all three of those guys come out of the same gym in Stockton. So good for Elevate 209 and some of the things they've been able to put together. They've got big, more people in the pipeline. You look at, probably in the next year or two, we'll be talking about Blake Nicholson out of Florida State. And obviously, the name is escaping me right now. He went to Arizona. Now he's over at Texas. It'll come back to me, but he's a receiver and, getting a lot of attention. So, and then not long after that, you'll probably have Kenny Moore, who's at UCLA, beginning his first year at UCLA. He was at St. Mary's in Stockton. So there's just so many guys that have ties to the area. There's a lot of talent in this area, and whether they become something or don't, it's always fun to kind of, follow their journey.
The 209, they create some incredible and put out some incredible football talent over there. You're talking about that Manteca East Union rivalry. That is a real rivalry over there. And my wife went to East Union, so I know how she feels about those Manteca Buffaloes.
Oh, okay.
Over
fun,
there.
Fun
so,
games out there.
Oh, a lot of. If you can get out to the 209 during the fall to watch some football, whether it's at St. Mary's or Manteca or East Union or Lincoln, I mean, man, some of my favorite trips that I made during the fall, and Sean, you know this very, very well, traveling all over the Sac Joaquin section. Some of the best trips are going down to the 209 on a Friday night. even like seeing Modesto Christian out there. And we got some really, really good football here in the area that I'm looking forward to getting to when fall happens. But right now it's summertime.
And actually, Matt, I'm glad you mentioned it. If I can mention one thing, because I couldn't remember his name, I had to look it up. Raleek Brown is the USC, Arizona State. He's put up some big numbers and getting a lot of attention. And he just, because of the transfer portal, and I have so many people look at transfer portal as like, oh, you're playing with all these different teams. It's like, no, you're following the money. You're allowed to do this. This is what you're trying to do. And so when you go to, you go from the likes of, Arizona State to USC and now Texas, like it or not, you're going up against upper echelon opponents with every step of the way. So he'll be at the University of Texas, the Longhorns next year, running back Raleek Brown. I think I said receiver, but have fun looking at him. He went to Edison in high school in Stockton.
Sean, of course, you're a Giants fan. I'll ask you about the Giants in a little bit because they're in a tumultuous time right now. But you're spending a lot of time at Sutter Health Park covering the first place in the AL West athletics. This is year 2, of course, them being in West Sacramento at Sutter Health Park. We've noticed the crowds are different. The team is obviously performing better. What about let me ask you this. Does it feel like you're covering a playoff team, and do you think we're getting playoffs in West Sacramento?
Oh, boy, it's May.
Yep. Come on, overreact with me.
I mean, look, the fact that I'll give him this because, bringing down in Mesa for a couple days during spring training, I'll be honest, it took me by surprise how much stock that coaching staff, those players really poured into the way they finished last year. And look, I'm not trying to take away from anything there, but people will be a bad team. You'll see teams make their September call-ups. Mm-hmm. Well, for the A's, that happens so early on, right? You lose 19 of 20, and it just absolutely just dashes your hopes of any type of postseason. If you remember at this time last year, we had some really competitive matchups against the Mariners, and the Mariners were looking like world beaters. And I thought, I was like, man, we're going to, in September when Seattle and the A's meet up, it's going to be an incredible, incredible series. And it just didn't hold up. I mean, the A's absolutely wet the bed and they went the other way. And it was unfortunate, but they put so much stock in the way that they finished after the All-Star break. Yeah. And obviously you see the likes of Nick Kurtz, who comes in and, is the Rookie of the Year. And you've got Jacob Wilson, who was also in that discussion, competing for a batting title at one point, becoming an All-Star and having such a great year. But, the results of how they finished that year carrying over into the spring, and they look at it and go, all right, we're going to really look at the way we ended and roll that forward to this year. Like that's momentum. That's more indicative of the type of team that we can be and what we are. Because let's face it, you didn't really add a whole lot to the roster. You have a lot of guys that are still on last year's roster who were part of this team. Jeff McNeil, who's, just hitting the cover off the ball, has been outstanding for them. And he was like their only pickup for the most part. And that's a team that got rid of the best closer in baseball, Mason Miller, and still was able to, get an absolute stud prospect in Leo DeVries from San Diego while giving up the best closer in baseball, who's still the best closer in baseball today. They're still able to put some stuff together. So, yeah, I like it. I think they proved something to themselves, the fact that they were able to rally from a pretty poor start in that opening week of the season, work their way to first place, play with a little bit of confidence, see that the bullpen was actually, not totally losing control of the games. They're getting run support. They had the day off yesterday. They're going to start their season, their series in Philadelphia today. And what's great is you had 5 straight games with 5 runs or more. Now, granted, they dropped 2 of those games to 2 of the 3 games to the Guardians this weekend, but what they're doing at the plate, what they're doing in the bullpen, starting pitching coming around, they're getting run support. Oftentimes they're playing from a deficit, and I think that just shows kind of the resiliency and the mindset that they're never out of a game. Yeah. It was nice to see what happened on Sunday against Cleveland, where they were able to take the lead early and give, Aaron Savali some run support to close out that series. And I think that, Mark Kotze talked about there was an emotional difference for those guys. And look, Shea Langoliers has been absolutely incredible. He now goes on paternity leave, but so much of what he was doing over this past week was like, hey, am I going to have a kid or not? My kid's on the way. I've got all these distractions. My wife's birthday is here. They have their they gave birth to their son. His wife Reagan gave birth to their son this past Sunday, so he's on paternity leave, and they trade for Jonah Heim to be a backup catcher from Atlanta because Austin Wynns has been absolutely atrocious at the plate, and hopefully he figures some things out. But they're gonna need some productivity, and they've had injuries. They've had their fair share of guys stepping into situations. They've got a lot of depth around their lineup, and they've still got guys coming on the way. Henry Bolt could be up here very soon, and Leo DeVries, who's super young, could be here this year. So there's a lot of optimism there, and I think it's a lot of fun. And you're right, the crowds out at Sutter Health Park have been fun. The games have been fun, even if we're just enjoying this for a little while. It's fun to see what Sacramento and this region can do to show Major League Baseball that maybe a team could belong here in Capital City for long term.
Well, the A's season, again, it's early May, and May was the month, as you remember, Sean, the month that everything fell apart for the A's last year. So they're already off to a better start this month than they were last year. But it's certainly going better for the A's than it has been for the Giants to start this season. However, there was a Sacramento call-up. Bryce Eldridge, number 2 prospect, I believe, in the Giants system, called up. He made his debut with the Giants last night, went 0 for 2, had a walk, which is something he does a lot. He walks a lot. He's got really good plate vision, and pitchers don't like to go right at him because of the power that he has in that bat. The Giants are in a weird spot. Like, they still have time, of course. Like you said, it's early May, but how will they approach the trade deadline if things continue to don't go in the right direction? You are very familiar with Logan Webb, of course. You've covered his entire professional career. You covered him very closely when he was at Rockland High School as the starting quarterback over there. Do you think there's any significance at all, or will the murmurs and whispers of a potential Logan Webb trade in San Francisco get louder if they're not able to right the ship?
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I'm very curious about it. I think, with respect to Logan, he's been the ace of this team for so long, and he's so hungry to win. I would argue that maybe he's best poised to be your second best catcher or starting pitcher, to take a little pressure off of him. I love the fact that, even when they don't get run production and they can't get any hits, Logan Webb pitches deep into games. Is he a little overrated? He could be. I don't think that, you get the success that he has and you chalk it up to luck, because this is a team that really has to grind all the time. I mean, it's not like he's on a Dodgers team that's the best in baseball and he gets nonstop run support. So the fact that he can go out there, eat up innings, be in the mix for a Cy Young conversation, I think he's coming off one of his best years. I say it was his best year. He'd push back on that. He says, the year that they won 100-plus games under that first year under Gabe Kapler, and they weren't that good, but they overachieved, and he got to the postseason. He still puts that as his best year. But I would argue that last year was probably his finest hour. So, I think you're open to anything. I don't know that he's the answer because, again, I think they need to add to that pitching staff rather than kind of chip away. Yeah. Pitching is so important. And the thing that just remains this constant for the better part of a decade is this Giants team really fails to hit and provide any run support. So they have some, nice quality depth around the infield. There's a lot of age on the team, and they're a little bit longer in the tooth than maybe they should be. But I think Bryce Eldridge and his call-up, as you mentioned, along with Jesus Rodriguez coming in, I think that offers a little bit of a spark, a little motivation. And Tony Vitello, who's a very creative manager coming from the college ranks as it is in his first season, I think he can point to say, hey, I gave the veterans a chance. They're still going to be relying on the veterans, but you're probably going to see a lot of rotating guys. Someone like Casey Schmidt, who can basically play any position out there. You'll probably see some more of him. Eldridge is a tough one because he can't really play first base. He's played pitcher in his career, like in his upbringing, but he's really a DH. If he can just hold his own at first base, he thinks he's gotten better. It's still going to be a work in progress, but they're pretty set most other places. So, but the fact that remains that to have the depth they need to be able to hit, and I think they need to go out and get quality pitching. I thought they were going to be in the mix for Lucas Giolito. They missed out on him. I think someone like Sandy Alcantara could be in the mix for San Francisco and give that starting rotation a big boost. But it's not going to matter if you're in last place, and so they were able to snap a 6-game skid. It was funny. I was looking back. I had to look back and see last time they were swept twice in consecutive series on the road. It was 2022, which doesn't sound that long ago, but that's just how it's been. Like these disappointing seasons. Maybe they catch fire later on. I would like to see them, hover around 7 games out. I don't think they're going to be able to catch the likes of the Dodgers. I think they're too good, but wild card provides a lot of possibilities, but they got to get it going, and hopefully Bryce Eldridge is maybe akin to what Nick Kurtz was to the A's last year, be able to put up the production. Granted, the A's kind of went the other way, but they closed out very, very strong, as I mentioned earlier. So if the Giants could do something like that with Eldridge, that would be huge.
Sean Cunningham from KCRA3 joining us, switching gears to basketball. Sean's been a friend of mine and a confidant of mine for many, many years as my career has grown up here in Sacramento. So, Sean, I'm relying upon you again to be my emotional support, depending upon what happens on Sunday. I mean, you know me, I stay even-keeled as always. And by emotional support, I mean when something goes wrong, Sean texts me and tells me to shut the hell up.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, look, I think I'm numb to it at this point. When I see some of the things that you do, it's just like, oh, okay.
All right, Matt's doing something stupid again. Anyway, the water's wet, the sky is blue. Sean, going into Sunday, though, it's obviously a pivotal day. Scott Perry decided, I'm not making anybody else on Mother's Day go to Chicago to represent the team. I'm doing it myself. We know the lottery odds, they're set. There's no more time to worry about tanking or anything like that. Plus, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on the proposal of the new draft lottery system that sounds like it's starting next year. But, I mean, it's a dumb question. How big is Sunday? But this will really set the tone for what this offseason is going to be for Scott Perry and the Kings.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I would like to tell Scott Perry, like, oh, it's pretty bold of you to be the draft representation in Chicago, where your assistant GM BJ Armstrong won championships. But to Scott, to his credit, he's not I think everybody knows this. I've certainly known this. He's not a very superstitious person. So that be damned. He's going to put his face on it. And so I applaud that. There's going to be a lot of attention on Sunday in ping pong balls and how that all shapes out. They go into with the fifth best, sitting in the fifth seed as it is. And obviously you've got 11.5% chance at, the top pick, but something like 34% chance for the top 3, if I'm not mistaken. So, look, you can cross your fingers and toes and wear your socks and maybe one shoe, whatever it is, lucky rabbit's foot and all those things. I just think at the end, no matter where they're drafting, I think this draft has the potential, even anywhere in the top 10. If you're the Kings, no matter who you pick, you now have your North Star. Not to say that you're, if you fall to 8 or fall to, get the worst case scenario and you fall to 9th, I still think you can end up with a really, really good player. Maybe it's not a potential star player at that point, but I do think it's somebody that you're now looking at in terms of building around. I wouldn't go as far as say face of the franchise, but you have your North Star. You now have your bottled hope. Because right now, let's face it, if you're a Kings fan, there's not much to be excited about. And you've got a lot of bloated contracts. You've got, the fourth worst record in the league. You've got a coach that has a big question mark next to him. I'd put Scott Perry in that mix too. You've got a front office that has a big question mark next to it, and a future that has a big question mark. And the only one that's really locked up long term, aside from some rookie scale contracts that you have over the past couple of years, is really Keegan Murray, and that's who they've hitched their wagon to. But I think we all know, for as great as Keegan has been, and obviously having an injury-shortened season this year, he's not necessarily star potential. Maybe he can still take that step, but I think most people would probably bet against that. He's a solid contributor, a starter, a two-way player. I think he's made solid growth. I'm not trying to put him down, but he's already now making a lot of money, and you kind of see what already that type of player is. So I think the biggest thing is, I think it's the most important draft in a long time. I've always grimaced when people say that, this is such an important offseason, because they're all important.
Right.
But this season, because you're coming off of a season where you were the fourth worst record in the league, and you really have no future in a lot of the people you've got these contracts to outside of Keegan and maybe some rookies, this now gives them that North Star. So whoever it may be, I think I'll be happy once Sunday is at noon is done, because then we don't have to talk about it anymore, and you can really say, okay, well, here's where they are, here's where they're selected to be picked, and as long as they don't, get really ambitious and move that pick, you can just really at that point kind of honing in on who you want, and I think it'll make for an exciting draft.
Sean, real quick before I free you from my presence, I appreciate you doing this. The draft lottery reform, have you gotten an opportunity to look through that? And obviously there's a vote coming later, and that's not the final proposal necessarily, but have you had a chance to really read through it and marinate in it and think about what it could do for the league and if it's a good or bad thing?
Yeah, it's a lot, right? Like, I think for the common fan, it's really difficult to understand. I'm of the opinion, I think the idea that I like the most, and we probably talked about it before, is holding the draft lottery during the All-Star break, so that I think that completely prevents teams from trying to mail it in, because those losses don't impact your lottery system at that point. Now, I give them credit. They're trying to make something happen. I don't think, if this passes, I'm not certain in my mind. I'd probably bet against this system sticking for more than 5-10 years. Okay. Like, I don't think that this is going to ultimately be the way they go forth. Now, for people to understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, I don't have this in front of me, 1 through 3, you're right around 5%. If you're the worst 1 through 3 teams in the league, the relegation zone. You get what, two ping pong balls, right?
Correct.
If you're 4 through 10, you get 3 ping pong balls. I'm not sure of the percentage there, but it's the best chances of winning the lottery.
It's like roughly 8 to 10% or something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah.
Yeah, I know they call it a 3-2-1 format. I don't love that because, 3-2-1 insinuates maybe your worst teams get 3, but it's your middle. It's your 4 through 10. And then 9 through 10 for the play-in games, they get just as many as your 1 through 3 of worst record in the league.
Right.
So they get 2 ping pong balls. And then if you're 7 through 8, the losers of the play-in games, they get 1 ball. So that part, to me, I'm okay with. I mean, even with the oddity of having 4 through 10, I'm okay with that. The part where it just kind of gets a little wonky to me, that I don't think I'm in on, is trying to incentivize teams to basically hold their records against them. Hey, you can't win the lottery in back-to-back seasons, and then you can't have a top 5 pick in 3 consecutive seasons.
Right.
I understand why that is, but I just think at that point, now you've taken something that's rather random, like the lottery system, and because of circumstance, you're saying, okay, now I'm going to screw with this. I'm going to remove this team. You're falling here now, and now we roll out the balls. That part doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I understand why it's there, and I'm interested to see how it plays out and how teams will react to it. I do believe that it will help curb tanking for the most part. But I do think that there's teams that, you look at what the Brooklyn Nets have gone through over the past couple of years. I mean, they've been a nowhere team, right. And I don't think next year they're looking at being some team that's going to compete for a title. I think they're going to try to make as many strides as they can, but let's face it, it's going to be a development year, as has been the last 3 years. So, barring some, miracle in the front office, and everyone's on board with that. So, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you're going to punish them for doing that. So, I don't know. I don't love that. I still think that the lottery system is what it is. It's not meant to be a perfect system, but I think it's about as perfect as you can have it. I just think you just have to do it earlier and maybe do it around the All-Star break.
There is not a Sacramento sports story and really a Northern California sports story that Sean Cunningham isn't involved with in some way, shape, or form. I have not yet confirmed if there are Sean Cunningham clones out there. There must be, for the amount of things that Sean gets to. Keep up the great work over there at KCRA3 all offseason long, whether it's Niners, Kings, Giants, A's, and beyond, my friend. And I look forward to having you back on the show. I promise Kayla will be here next time, so you don't just have to hear me the entire time.
No, that's fine. I didn't know she was gone, so I was like, is Matt just doing the interviews these days?
I'm just icing her out. Yeah, she's just
I figured after 3 straight questions, I was like, oh, she's probably not there.
Yeah, it's just Matt. It's just me. Sorry, bud.
All good.
Sean Cunningham, we appreciate you making the time, my friend. Have a good summer, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, buddy. Anytime.
The great Sean Cunningham from KCRA3. We'll take the break. When we come back, Kayla's not here, but the MLB mini-series season continues. That's before Crosstalk with Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles. We got 30 minutes left. Let's make the most of it. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
There are many reasons to choose Gonzalez Law Offices as a dedicated trial lawyer with an undefeated record from 2016 through 2019, and you'll know that no case is too big or too small. Due to his success, hard work, and commitment to excellence, attorney Jonathan Gonzalez has been listed in Super Lawyers Rising Stars, as well as in the top 40 under 40 list by national trial lawyers. You can find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call him at 916-304-9187.
This is the sound of Jack, buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Oh, ouch. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 17th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 17th. We'll see you there.
Sacramento River Cats baseball all summer long. The River Cats Summer Pass gets you into every game this summer with no blackout dates and includes access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club. Lock it in and don't miss a moment. Get your River Cats Summer Pass at rivercats.com.
Sacramento! Now you've got a place for all things dance.
The all-new Energy 100.5 HD2.
Where dance music lives. Dance vibes anytime and any place when you get the free Now 100.5 app.
Or listen at 100.5 HD2.
Contractors, remodelers, you now have a great supplier to assist you with your next project. Anova Cabinet and Stone in Sacramento. They are Northern California's best kitchen and bathroom remodeling supply store. Anova has the latest cabinet styles, a great selection of countertops, flooring, bathroom fixtures, and more. Visit their website, InnovaCabinetStone.com. Take advantage of their grand opening special, a $750 in-store credit. Stop by today, Innova Cabinet and Stone in Sacramento.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Big thank you to Sean Cunningham from KCRA3 for joining us here on the show today.
Here's Sean Cunningham. Who? I don't know.
If you don't know who Sean is, you should know. The coverage of Sacramento and Northern California sports is elite from Sean Cunningham. And he always keeps it real.
Here's Sean Cunningham. Who? I don't know.
Kyle, before we get to our MLB mini-seasons, or mini-series, what do we call it? I don't even know what we call it.
You call it mini-seasons mostly.
Whatever. Mini-seasons. My game, I don't even know what it's called.
And no one knows how it's played.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy how it's played.
It's that Matt wins.
No, y'all just don't, you don't understand basic rules, so you can't win. It's your fault. I am the 3-time champ. We'll get to that in a second, though. Kyle,
Asterisk.
We didn't get the chance to talk about this yesterday. Over the weekend in Sacramento, there was one hell of a soccer game. The Republic FC came with an epic comeback at Heart Health Park, part of the USL Championship regular season. The Republic FC, by the way, are number 2 in the USL Power Rankings, so they're a really, really good squad. You need to go out to Sutter Health Park and check them out when they play. You will not be disappointed. It's a great time, great atmosphere. I love going out to Republic matches. Of course, they've got a brand new stadium on the way. Sacramento's going all out on this stadium. Very excited about that. But Kyle, you were at Heart Health Park. You got to witness this comeback, this epic comeback in person.
I did, yes. Never seen anything like it before. And I'm not a big soccer person. I'm not going to pretend
You
like
should be. It's great.
I mean, it's fine. Soccer's fine. That's all I'll say. Soccer is fine. It's not my favorite sport in the world. It's not my least favorite sport in the world. But my best friend and roommate works for the Republic, so we get free tickets, go to the games all the time, stuff like that. Never seen anything like it before in my life. It is, so at this point, it's 2-1 in the 88th minute.
Out of 90.
Out of 90, yes. So there are 2 minutes left in the game, and it's a running clock. So Sacramento has, I believe it's a free kick that gets saved and then headed in by Sacramento. I can't remember who scored that one exactly, but Sacramento ties the game at the very end, and people are going crazy because I think Orange County was first place at the time.
Yep.
In soccer, if you draw, you get 1 point. So they went from having 0 points to getting 1 point. And it's like, wow, you just stole a draw from Orange County.
It's called at the death. You scored at the death.
Yes. So Sacramento scored at the death. Orange County went from getting 3 points to 1 point.
Yep.
Sacramento went from 0 to 1. It was incredible. So then, they go to extra time, which is, for those who don't know soccer, you know what? People know what extra time is. I'm not going to mansplain soccer.
When you have a running clock and there's injury time or pauses in the action, they take someone has a stopwatch, their timekeeper, and they track how many extra minutes are played, and they play extra time to get the full 90.
Soccer is the most popular sport in the world. I'm not going to explain to people what soccer works.
You get it.
So they added 4 minutes of extra time. In the 3rd minute of extra time, there is a play where Orange County thinks that a whistle has been blown to stop the play. So their player reaches down to reset the ball and kick it down to the other side of the field.
Ruh-roh.
No whistle had been blown, so they just committed a handball. But the handball happened in the box, so Sacramento got a free kick to win the game. Again,
penalty kick.
Yes, a penalty kick. No one believed it was possible. They had a shot to win the game. That kick from Benitez gets saved by Orange County, but it ricochets directly back to Benitez, who hits it with his head, and all the players are behind him. So they're charging in, trying to tackle him and knock the ball away.
Yep.
Happens to go right back to him hard enough that he just hits it with his head, and it goes in the back corner, and everyone's going crazy. In the literal last minute of the game, they go from they were going to get 0 points to all of a sudden they get 3 points. I've never seen anything like it. A complete choke at the end of the game by Orange County.
That's how you win a match right there. You can go and check it out on Republic FC's Twitter account to watch those plays. Pretty crazy. If you have not been out to Heart Health Park, it truly is a good time. The atmosphere is great. The Tower Bridge Battalion is fantastic. They're the group of fans that are banging the drums, singing the songs. The food and drinks out there are great. The atmosphere is wonderful. Spend a summer evening at Sutter Health Park.
My recommendation is to do it when the state fair is going on, too.
Yes, that's a great time.
Because then you get a free ticket to the state fair and the game.
Didn't they move the state fair now?
I think it's in August now.
Did they? I thought they moved it to later because it was so dang hot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it used to be like
June
and July. I think it's
true.
August now.
Oh, August isn't any freaking colder. Sometimes August is hotter than June and July.
I'd have to look it up. But anyways, every year they do one match while the state fair is going on.
Which is awesome.
And you can go to the state fair and your ticket to the Republic game is free. Also, there's only 2 years left at Heart Health Park, so you don't have many chances left to do it.
Before a brand new stadium is opening. So go out and check out the Sacramento Republic FC as they march towards hopefully their second USL championship. Speaking of championships, 3-time champion right here. That's right. First three-peat champion in our Matt and Kayla MLB mini seasons. Well, once again, as the champ, I'm not off to a good start. I picked Kyle's Padres to beat the Giants last night, I thought the Giants' losing streak would continue. It did not. The Giants got the 3-2 win, so I am 0-1 this week. Kyle,
Idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, what a loser.
Kyle, you drafted the Chicago Cubs and chose them to beat the Reds. It was a close game, but you won via a walk-off. The Cubs, beat the Reds 5-4, so you start at 1-0. Yeah, you. And Kayla finally drafted the Dodgers. She's had so many opportunities and refused to draft the Dodgers so she could take teams like the Boston Red Sox. Well, she took the Dodgers, and she chose them to beat the Houston Astros, and I'm happy to say the Astros lost. I'm glad the Dodgers won.
Wow, so your hatred for the Astros is stronger than Dodgers.
Yes, of course.
Just because you're an A's fan.
Yeah, screw the Astros. Cheating, you-know-whats. So
I think the Astros cheating scandal was awesome.
I am 0-1. You are 1-0, as is Kayla. We'll have to get Kayla's pick later on. I am taking the Atlanta Braves over Kayla's lame, woeful Seattle Mariners.
One-hit wonder.
That is my, no, don't say that while she's not here. That's not fair. Kyle, you have the Pirates, Marlins, Blue Jays, and Red Sox to choose from today. Who are you putting in to represent you tonight?
Matt, there's only one team I can choose today. It's because Sandy Alcantara is on the mound. So it's time. Pick the second place in the NL East, Miami Marlins. Let's go. Fins up, baby.
Marlins over who? Who are they playing?
That's a great question.
I will double check. Quiet down, Pipple.
It's Baltimore.
Marlins versus Orioles. All right.
I just made sure to look if Sandy was pitching. I saw Sandy. I was like, there you go, Marlins time.
I looked at you when we had Sean on, and Sean suggested that the Giants should be in the running to get Sandy. I looked at you to see if your heart was breaking as for some reason, Marlins fan, even though you're a Padres fan.
Yeah,
how much would that tick you off to see Sandy go to the Giants? I don't know why the Giants would be buyers of the deadline anyway, but how much would it sadden you to see Sandy become a Giant?
It's not my first choice, we'll say that. But Sandy, this is the tough thing. Like, I understand that Marlins fans have had it rough for a very long time.
Yep.
They are the A's in the sense that any good thing that's ever happened to them, either they get traded immediately or there was the super tragic situation with Jose Fernandez.
Yeah.
So, like, Marlins fans have had it rough, and I don't want to see Sandy get traded because he's been the best thing that franchise has had for damn near a decade now. But it would also be cool to see Sandy not pitching for a team that doesn't have a chance to win a World Series.
Especially at this point in his career, and he's been really good this season.
But also, the Giants probably shouldn't be buyers. Like,
No,
I'm
they should
just
not be.
putting this out there.
They
They
should not
probably shouldn't be aggressively buying.
I agree with you 100% in that sense. We'll take the break. When we come back, it's crosstalk time. Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles join me before taking over for 4 hours. The Drive Guys coming up next on Matt Kayla, Sactown Sports.
With a $49 million player option in front of him, is Zach LaVine a lock to remain with the Kings next season? Or could a diminished role potentially lead the veteran guard to look elsewhere? Hear the entire breakdown from Matt George and Kayla Anderson at SactownSports.com or on the Sactown Sports app. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
Progressive's accident response can detect and send help when you need it most, after a major car accident. But other accidents, you're on your own. Like when you accidentally call your wife Mom. When you accidentally say Happy Holidays on someone's birthday. When you accidentally wave at someone you thought was waving at you. We can't help with those accidents, but Progressive's accident response provides peace of mind after major car accidents. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Capital Casino is conveniently located in downtown, 411 16th Street, and has been a part of the greater Sacramento area for over 20 years. They offer the best variety of games in the region in a safe and friendly environment, and there's plenty of parking, all well lit and monitored by security. Come have a great meal at the cafe and restaurant inside. Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action, but please always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body. That's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long, so you can reset, recover, and leave feeling stronger than when you came in. Join the club for just $1 down, $15 a month, and get free massage amenities for the month of May. No commitment. Deal ends May 15th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Monster Truck Madness storms into the Stockton Dirt Track with the most affordable penalty fun on May 9th. Tickets start at $15. Admission includes a bid party. Meet the drivers, touch the trucks, feel the power. And don't miss $10 Monster Truck ride that put you in the action. Save money now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
We're already having fun here. Alan Stiles, Whitey Gleason. No Kayla today, so we have to all behave ourselves.
What now? What have you done with Kayla?
What have I done?
What have you done with Kayla?
She abandoned me.
I'm sure she did a great job today.
She's in high demand.
That's right.
She's emceeing an event in Sacramento.
Yes. She may be the #1 media personality in Sacramento. I mean, she may be.
She might be.
She's on the rise.
Respectfully.
She's not the type that would say that, but she might be.
Oh, no, Kayla would say it.
This guy, Whitey. Man.
This guy.
He just don't give a bleed.
So, look, I mean, but
you don't know.
See, Alan he speaks for nerds, or he's like the gatekeeper of nerddom.
Yeah.
He speaks for cat owners, but Alan also is the great A Styles at River Cats games, so he understands what it is to truly be like an MC, truly be a host in that sense. So I want to know, how many tips did you give Kayla? Like, did she reach out to you to ask for tips?
No, she did not reach out. I do not give...
Not unsolicited.
No, I don't do that. Now, if she did, I would have gladly given her, but she doesn't need it. You know, she doesn't need it.
Come on. She's perfect.
That's right.
That's
right. But no, Some I of that did might not apply. You know, like Kayla's speaking to the, I don't know, Kiwanis Club or something. What do I do, Alan? Well, you get some kids and you give them a baseball bat and you spin around in circles. Look, I don't know if that's helpful.
Bennett!
The field's too wet for Dizzy Bat, okay, Whitey? Oh, okay. Hopefully it'll be dry enough this weekend. Dizzy Bat, I didn't know. That's right. Name, yeah.
How much fun is it, though, to just, hey, everything they do on top of the dugout?
Yes.
How much fun is it to go to do that?
Well, it can be dicey because, I don't pick the contestants. So sometimes, depending on the contestant, it ain't that easy. That step
hard to get
is
up
a little taller than you think. It's like less than the greatest caller ever, but you can't tell the engineer, all right, let him go. Right. You gotta. Yeah. So, they come to me and they say, hey, here are the contestants. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you got to get up on this dugout here, and most of the time it's fine. Most of the time it's fine. But it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Like the game you went to, we were on the dugout a lot. Sometimes I do think because of the sharing of the field, we're on the field less. But last season, it would just depend on the day.
Right.
Like some days we would be on the first base side the whole time. But, you come to a game, we might be on the dugout the whole time.
You haven't gotten a moment yet where, like, a player or manager in the dugout that you're currently stomping on and yelling on top of is like, shut up.
No, because we never do
neighbor.
it. We're never on top of the away dugout.
Right. No, it's always on the home
Some
dugout.
of the away teams have not been too nice. Some of them have not even good sports because they're not a part of it, but they've just kind of been jerks
to like not the contestants because they're kids, but the cat crew, like kind of.
Well, yeah, because they throw.
Yeah, they'll throw like
there.
sunflower seeds at them and stuff.
Really?
Hey,
man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, why don't you focus on getting out of here? Why don't you focus on getting to the next level? Don't worry about Dizzy Bat.
Well, a guy
you should tell him that. See what they throw then.
A guy that you're very familiar with in Bryce Eldridge, no longer with the Cats, now with the Giants, made his debut last night. I'm sure you guys are going to talk about it on the show. But
yes,
technically it wasn't his debut.
Well, that's true.
Whitey
corrected us. This season's debut because he's played one game.
No. He played for about a month
last year.
Oh,
yeah,
Kyle, you lied to me. You said one game.
I corrected myself.
Oh.
You just weren't listening.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
he
fair.
played about 10 games around a month last season, and it was kind of a similar situation. They were still in the race, and they thought, hey, we need a little bit of offense. They went cold and thought he'd bring a spark, and he didn't. I do think, if I remember correctly, he got brought up by himself, which I thought was very much too much on someone's shoulders this season. Obviously, Jesus Rodriguez is not the biggest name compared to Bryce, but at least it's a little bit different than.
I didn't realize Rodriguez has caught McDonald a lot.
In Sacramento. In Sacramento.
Yeah.
So, both of them were up. No fireworks yesterday, but they did get a W. No fireworks from the new guys, but they did get a W, and that's all that matters. Thank you, Jay. Jay is undefeated at Oracle Park. Huge Giants fan, apparently. Thank you, Jay.
Ruined his birthday.
I would like to pitch a station field trip for all of us because I don't know if you saw this, Alan. Of course, NFL schedules for next season aren't out yet.
Should be soon.
But the Raiders put out who their home and away opponents are going to be. And the Raiders are coming to Levi Stadium to take on the Niners this year. I don't know. We don't know the date. We don't know the time.
Right.
I would like to propose a station trip down to Levi Stadium. Apparently, we're going to be giving away. The morning show is going to be giving away tickets to the home
that
opener.
game?
No, to the home. Well, it might be the home opener. We don't know. But
wow.
Raiders back in the Bay. Hopefully, it's later in the season so we can go see our boy Fernando.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
Oh,
no,
a thing.
No, hold on. I'd like to go. How do I say this appropriately?
Is it me?
No, not at all. But if that's a big day.
That is a big day.
Right? So
it's a long day.
It's a long. It could be a long day.
Yeah.
A lot of people I got to see.
Yeah.
Got to enjoy yourself and coworkers. I don't know where that line starts and ends.
And Whitey, you'll try and make it, right?
I'm going to try to swing by.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to have the thought process of possibly arriving.
Man,
that's Whitey.
Nobody will hang out.
But
sure you guys want any part of that?
If we get it sponsored,
huh?
If we get it sponsored, then I'm there. That's different.
Absolutely, I would love to
But
go.
just a solo bolo field trip. Well, if we're on the clock, that's the question. I will go with coworkers off the clock. Sure. If we're on the clock,
if we're working it,
then that's a little different, obviously. So we got to figure out what this field trip looks like.
Does that mean? Are you saying it's different because of what you may or may not be able to partake in?
That is maybe a thought process that could be had.
Understood. We'll
By the
work
way,
on it.
Speaking of 49er field trips, real quick, I don't know if you guys saw this. You know Matt Mayoko covers the Niners, NBC Sports Bay Area. I just saw this on social media. He, last week or the week before, I'm not sure where he is. Maybe he's in the East Bay. He took the train up to see the A's.
The Capitol Corridor or whatever it's called?
Whatever train it is, yeah. And then he went back. He said, it was great. So he took the train into Sacramento to watch A's baseball and then went back.
Yeah, I'm on it. I've done Amtrak all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's simple. Where do you take it from?
That's what I'm not exactly sure.
Because I'll do.
I know, but I don't think I'm supposed to tell you. No.
I'll do Jack London Square.
To
Sacramento is pretty straightforward, and it's actually quite beautiful. You pass all the houses on the water.
I've done that to a Raider game.
Yeah,
a long time ago, obviously.
Back in the day.
Well, when you were a Raider, we found out Whitey was a Raider fan.
You were?
They abandoned us.
He was a Raider.
Are you a fan of anybody now, or are you just the Jumbo Bucket football fan?
Oh,
Remember
Mr. Jumbo Bucket.
Yeah,
KFC.
That's me.
Yeah, Mr. KFC.
No, that was your term. That was your football term. The Jumbo Bucket.
Jumbo Bucket.
He was in the Jumbo
Bucket.
Bucket.
Jumbo.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Jumbo.
No, not Come on.
I thought, some thighs. Wings.
Also, in fairness, Whitey's talking about when they abandoned Oakland in 1980 to go to Los Angeles.
That's not true. They didn't have trains then.
They did.
You had to take the stagecoach.
That's right.
Well,
Horse and buggy Whitey used to go to the old Raider games.
That was a day. You think it's a long day now.
The music's playing us off, but I got to make sure I get this in. I don't want to spoil your show too much, but Alan, you do have to take some ownership for De'Aaron Fox's performance last night.
I do.
No, because you're talking Fox up, how great De'Aaron Fox is, and then he has a stinker like that. I'm just saying it's about time you get humbled a little bit.
Me?
All right? Yes, you. Mr. I love Fox Force 5.
Look.
I would never do that.
D-Train. Look, man. Yeah, the D-Train is... I'd rather take Amtrak.
Oh, wait.
The D-Train is broken.
So, Dave got mad at me for using this.
Why?
Because, there it is. Now, see, he won't get mad at Whitey. Oh, God.
Then he broke it. How about that, Dave?
4 hours of The Drive, guys. Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles coming up next. Kayla will be back with